Live from the Sports Center of Connecticut here in Shelton, Connecticut, it's NE10 playoff hockey time as the visitors from Franklin Pierce, the 5 seed, have traveled down through blizzard and snow to get to the Sports Center to take on the 4 seed, your Post University Eagles. A pleasant good evening, everybody. I'm Jeff Nelson. The coach, Pete Whitney, will join me in just a moment. The Eagles 5-2-1 in their last 8 games, 3-16 prior to that, but they've made a run out of the NE10 basement to the 4 seed, and they've played well overall. Ben Cunine leads the NE10 in shutouts with 5. He also has tied the conference record with those 5 shutouts, but it's playoff time, so everything starts anew. The Eagles come into the playoffs 2-4 all time in the NE10 playoffs. It's a .333 winning percentage. And the man to my right, the Coach P. Whitney, is the one with those 2 wins. So, Coach, it's playoff time. It's a home playoff game, the second playoff game at the Sports Center of Connecticut ever held. Last one was 4 years ago. How are you feeling?
I feel good. I'm a little bit more relaxed than I was 4 years ago, actually.
Talk to me about the last 8 games have really been the key for the Eagles, the 5-2-1 stretch. Obviously, they lost on Saturday in a game that really, outside of continuing the streak, meant little in the way of standings. But the Eagles have sort of changed the fortune, going 3-16 to start the season and 5-2-1 over the last 8.
Yeah, the small adjustments they've made over the last 8 games have been the difference maker. Their offensive attack has changed a little bit, subtle nuances with that. Defensively, that's changed a little bit too. They're doing some different things there. And discipline-wise, they've been better with staying out of the box. So you put those 3 together with a team that's really talented and plays well 5-on-5. That's a recipe for success. So I think that's why you see the 5-2-1 record.
When last we saw the Eagles here at home, they were down 1-0 and 2-1 to Southern New Hampshire, and then made it 5-2 with 4 goals. Actually, I was saying A's, excuse me.
Yeah.
Saying A's, rather.
Yep.
So a lot of home games in these last 2 weeks.
Right, but I mean, they're scoring 5 goals, 3 goals. The whole 1.8 that just seemed to sit there for weeks is 100% a thing of the past. And it's just one of those games where it's just, honestly, like if you're a player, it's just pure fun. Right, there's no expectation other than we play our game and we win and then we move on to the next one. Like every game is just a process of 1 game, 2 games, 3 games. Goal now is to try to go 3-0. That's the goal.
Franklin Pierce, who is the 5 seed, they almost switched spots with the way the Eagles were playing. They're 3-14 since January 3rd. Coach, they're giving up 4.79 goals per game, but in these last 17, they're up over 6. What's changed for Franklin Pierce?
Yeah, I mean, it's always hard to say. It's always hard to figure when you're in those slumps. But a little bit Jekyll and Hyde, right? I mean, they played Assumption for 2 this past weekend. First game did not go well. Was not a contest. They made the second game a contest. That was a difference maker. So they're a team that can score goals. They've shown against Post in the past that if you put them on a power play, they can score some goals. So the discipline of Post is going to be a difference maker. And for these guys here from Franklin Pierce, Coach has done a great job. Team had 2 wins last year. Coach has done an outstanding job, and that's what they need to hold on to is think back and know the team that they could become based on what they have already done. They have a body of work. It just hasn't happened lately.
From the 6 to the 5 seed, Franklin Pierce goes, and it's time for the starting lineups, who are brought to you by Post University, who wants you to ask yourself, are you a Post person? Post makes it personal with fast, flexible, and affordable programs that are designed to help you achieve your goals, no matter where you are on your academic journey. Post offers online, hybrid, and on-campus degree programs to meet your needs. For more information on all of Post degree programs, to visit campus, take a tour, or apply, go to post.edu. That's post.edu. For Franklin Pierce in goal, it's Jeremy Connor, the senior out of Hazlet, New Jersey. He is 5-11 on the season, 4.29 goals against average, and an .882 save percentage. His defensive combination is Doug McGuire, senior out of Elk Grove Village, Illinois. He's the captain. And Todd Branish, a junior, 5'8", 190 out of Castle Pines, Colorado. On left wing, Mario Paganini, sophomore, 5'10", out of Harrison, New York. The center is Nick Fish, out of Ashland, Massachusetts. He's a junior, and on right wing, it's Austin Pick, the senior. 9 goals, 19 assists on the season out of Troutdale, Oregon. Head coach in season 1 is Connor Foley. His assistant coach is Bob DeGiminis and Ian Wallace. We will get to the Eagles starting lineup in a moment, but right now we will pause for the playing of our national anthem. Our national anthem now. The Eagles starting lineup in goal. Ben Cunine, the senior out of Pembroke Pine, Florida. 5 shutouts on the season. 8-13-1, a 2.26 goals against average, and a .930 save percentage. His defensive combination is Aiden Kennedy, the team's leading scorer out of Schaumburg, Illinois. He's a sophomore with 16 points. And Owen Rieger, who has 13 points on the season, 6'2", 185 sophomore out of Foxborough, Massachusetts. From left to right, Scotty Swain, the sophomore out of Baltimore, Maryland. 5'8", 165. Joe Santoro, the center, our number 1 star from Friday. 9 points on the season. He's a senior as well. And A.J. Gazzardi, the freshman out of Berlin, Connecticut, 5'11", 180. Head coach in season 4, Tim Richter. Assistant coach, Andy DeAngelis. Eagles 0-3 under Tim Richter in the NE10 playoffs, seeking their first win under his guidance. Crowd filling in nicely for a Tuesday night. It's Tuesday night hockey here on the various platforms with which this hockey game is on. The Post University Network, the NE10 Now Network, youtube.com/Go Post Eagles, the CACC Network, wherever you want to enjoy this around the world this evening. Joe Santoro for the Eagles, wearing white, team going right to left as you look at your dial. Nick Fish in the face-off dot in the maroon and white with the light blue trim for Franklin Pierce going left to right as you look at your screen and dial. Puck dumped in to the Eagle zone. Scotty Swain comes up with it. He centers it all the way through the slot and out to center where Aiden Kennedy will play it. These teams played a while ago. And the Eagles 1-3 against Franklin Pierce on the season. That said, Franklin Pierce is 3-1 against the Eagles this season. Long dump in, chase after. They're going to wave off that icing as a good effort by Austin Pick. Waves it off. Good backup by Murray, though. He gets it back out the center. Tisdale rims it in. Here's Glassford. Glassford with a pass that gets stopped at the blue line, but then sent back out the center. And a long shot taken from the other side of the blue line. Ravens need to tag up, so Glassford will start again a minute into the first period. And no score here at the Sports Center of Connecticut. Jeff Nelson, Coach Pete Whitney here with you to broadcast this game, first round of the NE10 Conference Playoffs. Kimball tips it in, played by Jeremy Connor. Connor gives to his D, Tisdale. Tries to reverse the flow, but the puck goes a little bit too far. Kept in by Howell. Howell will dump it in. Eagles will try to forecheck, but then it's sent all the way down. There should be an icing as O'Connell will tag up. 1:22 in, no score, and a face-off deep inside the Raven zone. Update from the other NE10 Conference Playoff game up at St. A's. It's 4-4, St. A's in Southern New Hampshire, the 3 seed and the 6 seed. Going to overtime, 4-4 at St. A's, heading to overtime. Eagles win the faceoff, but Franklin Pierce does a good job to break out 2-on-1. Here's Ursillo over the line with a nice centering pass in, and Cunine does not make the save. It's in, they score. Isaiah Frankel took a return feed from Ursillo. Made a backhand, forehand move, got the puck between the legs of Cunine, and at 1:32, just like that, Franklin Pierce has a 1-0 lead, Coach.
Yeah, second D. Weak side D, a little slow to respond to that and get back. Creates a 2-on-1. Just it looked like a pretty simple play, but great job by Franklin Pierce of connecting with that pass, getting that across. Ben slid across. Looks like he was still maybe worried about the pass back a little bit, and ended up in our net.
1:32 the time. That's Isaiah Frankel's first goal of the playoffs, obviously 5th of the entire season. Give an assist to Ursillo. We'll see if there's a second assist, and that goal is at 1:32. Puck sent wide of Kunin. And now out to center, Franklin Pierce goes. So a quick 2-on-1. As the Ravens up 1-0. It was interesting, the Eagles won that faceoff inside the Ravens zone, but they broke out 2-on-1 to get the goal. Now a shot taken from the top of the far circle, stopped by Kunin for his first save, and the puck sent out to center. 1-0, Franklin Pierce. Isaiah Frankel's 5th overall goal of the season, first of the playoffs from Ursillo and Sterling at 1:32. Long shot stopped by Connor, now played behind the net by Fret. Fret comes over here on the near side to Levan. Levan chips it out to center, but Glassrud gets to it first. Couple number 22s fighting for it as Blanchette came in. Glassrud then gets it out to center. Here's Gazzardi. Long shot from the top of the slot. High and wide. Then a recenter attempt by Gazzardi ends up behind the net. He'll chase it down, go back to the point, but then stolen before it could get there by Blanchette, and he'll chop it all the way down. This could be an icing as well, and it will be, as Pacheco sort of went down to third gear. And that puck went all the way down the ice. 2:50 into the first, 1-0 Franklin Pierce on the Isaiah Frankel goal, the junior out of San Diego, California. So just like a moment ago, face off to Connor's left. Last one sent the Ravens down 2-on-1. This one won by Franklin Pierce clean. No 2-on-1 there. But they'll turn it over at center, and Kimball goes back to Glasser. Gives to Pacheco. Finds McMains. McMains has a hard time getting it through center. He'll play it back to Glassrud inside his own zone. He'll go to Pacheco, and he'll take a return feed to McMains. McMains gets to the red line, dumps it in. Connor will glove it and will hold for a whistle, so a field position play. Another face-off deep inside the Ravens zone with 3:16 gone.
Yeah, I think generally speaking, anything post can do to get pucks to the goaltender and get in there and win some draws is going to be to their advantage, provided everyone's doing their job.
Swain fanned on the shot off the Santoro win. O'Connell takes a shot and that gets blocked. Swain re-centers toward the net, gets blocked again, didn't get to Connor, now sent on the wall to O'Connell. O'Connell at the point had it for a moment and sent it back in, and it was kicked all the way down the ice. So now Hope behind his own net, watched by Fish. Long pass up the center ice off Gazzardi's stick. Gazzardi chasing it after. There'll be no icing here as Tisdale rims it around, gets it out to center. Kennedy has to wait for everybody to tag up. Everybody does. Santoro then touches it in as the Eagles change behind the play. Swain's still in there forechecking. Puck ripped out to center. Kennedy will glove it. Rieger will glove it and send it right back in where Connor will stick it. 1-0 Franklin Pierce. We're 4 minutes into period number 1. But as we said at the open, Franklin Pierce has been giving up a lot of goals. Of course, the 2 games they didn't give up any goals was against the Eagles when they played here a couple of weeks ago. But now a penalty on Franklin Pierce, 4:11 into the first. Looked like tripping, but not 100% sure what that was. But we'll say 4:11 the time on the penalty anyway. Where the Eagles, 16 for 106 on the power play, 15.1%. They're 5th in the NE10 during the regular season. Franklin Pierce on the penalty kill, dead last, 84 for 109, 77.1% in the regular season. Nick Fish, 2 for tripping at 4:11. Eagles trail 1-0.
Good opportunity for Post here. In their last game at home, they were very good on the power play, moving pucks around, creating opportunities for themselves.
Kennedy to Santoro. Santoro back to Kennedy, center point. Brings it over here for Howell for a one-time shot, stopped by Connor as they set up the triangle, and the puck was shot from the rim of the near circle. Now Kimball takes a shot. That got through, stopped by Connor again. Santoro behind the net looking to find somebody. He gets it to Howell over here on the left side. Back to Kennedy on the point. Kennedy, the team's leading scorer, goes back down to Howell. Howell leaves for Rieger. Rieger, who scored a power play goal in the last home game, gets it back to Howell. Howell, Kennedy, one-time shot, blocked in front, and it's sent all the way down the ice. Good play by Chase Levan, the freshman out of Arvada, Colorado. He blocked that shot from Kennedy, and the puck sent all the way down the ice, and the Eagles go for a full line change on their first power play of the game. Norling comes in, takes a shot, top of the near circle, stopped by Connor from about 40 feet out. Norling takes a return pass on left point, goes across to O'Connell. O'Connell back to Norling center point. Norling closes it with a shot looking for the corner. Missed it. Looking more for the corner than the tip. Then Norling takes a return pass, brings it over here to Murray. Murray takes a shot. It gets blocked by a leg of a Franklin Pierce defender, and Norling will play it on right point. Back to O'Connell center point. Comes back to Norling. One-time shot. That's blocked again. Good job by the Ravens to get in front of the shooting lanes. As 3 straight shots blocked by the Ravens, and count the one by Kennedy, make it 4. Eagles try to keep it in. It's O'Connell. Goes across to Norling again for a shot that's stopped by Connor. And the Ravens doing a good job getting in the shooting lanes, Coach. 8 seconds remain on the first Eagle power play.
Yeah, they're doing a good job soaking up pucks in front of their goaltender. Absolutely. It's a really strong-looking, doesn't look like a penalty kill that's struggling right now.
8 seconds remain on the Eagle first power play. Santoro out there for the faceoff against Paganini. Santoro wins that to Swain. Rieger's got a pinch in, but it's poked away from him, and now another 2-on-1 for the Ravens. Racing in is Paganini. Brings it over here to Pick, and he takes a shot that just goes wide. Eagles come back the other way on a 4-man wave. Here's Santoro. Goes across the ice to Swain. Scotty Swain onside. Looking in front for Gazzard. He just missed the stick, and it comes all the way out the other side. The penalty, the fish is over. Eagles 0 for 1 on the man advantage. They'll wave off the icing as they say Kennedy could have played it, and then Kennedy will get it out to Beckett. Beckett does a good job avoiding the check, gets to Rieger. Rieger has it poked off a stick, but Beckett there to help out behind him and avoid an offensive opportunity. Then Paganini will take a long shot, block it away by Canoon, who leaves a rebound. It's still bouncing in his crease, and the Eagles get it and send it out to center. McCall trying to pick it up 1-on-3. He does. He skates ahead up the middle. McCall looking to feed it off to Norling, couldn't do it. And then they turn it over to the Ravens. Brought back in by the Eagles as Beckett found a loose puck just inside the zone. Leaves for Glasser, who takes a long shot, swallowed whole by Connor. Some sloppy play by both teams there in the last 30 seconds, Coach. Eagles get a break with Beckett backing up Rieger as he almost turned it over. And then the Ravens turned it over in their own zone, and Connor bails them out.
Yeah, the Eagles did a good job there of having those layers, right? You never want the puck carrier to be the last player out of your zone, and that's a perfect example of why.
Face-off one. Howell took a shot that's shouldered by Connor, popped into the slot for a moment. Pekka tried to get to it, but the Ravens get it out to center. Puck tried to be brought back in by Paravalitis, and it was turned over, dumped in. Connor will rim it around to the far side. Paravalitis tries to get it out, gets sent out to center, and then dumped right back in by the Eagles, who tag up. Atkinson forechecking. This is the Atkinson-Howell-Pekka line, which has been so good on the forecheck. Then a turnover. Howell gloved it out of the air, but the puck swept out the center. And Drew White will play it back into the Eagle zone. 1-0 Franklin Pierce on an early Isaiah Frankel goal at 1:32. Eagles change behind the play. They dump it in. No icing. Connor touched it. Franklin Pierce tries to bring it to center. They said they turn it over to Connor Murray. Back comes Baxter Kimball. Good season for Kimball. 12 points, 5 goals, 7 assists. Quietly 12 points. And the Eagles will replay at center. Here's Connor Murray, the senior. Dumps it in. Will chase after it with speed. Murray wins the race to his own dump-in. Tried to send it around the net. Instead, it's played in the near side corner. Looking to go back to O'Connell. O'Connell with a lane. Takes a shot toward the net. Deflected by Kimball in front. One bang, two bangs out. It goes off the post. And squirts back out. Then O'Connell takes a shot that gets blocked in front. Good opportunity for the Eagles there. Baxter Kimball, back-to-back opportunities and a post hit. And now the Eagles scrambling to try to find the puck and get another opportunity. Instead, Franklin Pierce gets it out and dumps it down. Hope turns it over inside his own line. Here's Frankel, the goal scorer. Goes back to the point. Shot toward the net. Deflected off the stick of John Sterling. And wide. Now Hope being checked by Sterling. Turns it over again, but then the Eagles get a break as McMains comes up with it. Here's Santoro with speed to center. Dumps it in. Goes chasing after his own dump in. He'll lose the race to Branish, but kick it around over here to Fret. Puck pumps free in the slot and a shot taken right on. Stopped by Connor with 8:59 gone in the first period. 1-0. Good opportunity for Baxter Kimball, Coach, and a post hit on his opportunity.
Yeah, right now both teams are trying to play the pace, but they're also playing a little bit of a pace where they're suffering puck control. So you have to play the pace, but you also have to be able to play the pace where you can control that puck.
Santoro wins it to Gazzardi. Gazzardi leaves it back on left point. Kennedy trying to get away from the heavy forecheck, and he turns it over. Back comes Franklin Pierce the other way. Here's Blanchette. Blanchette takes a long shot from outside the blue line, gloved by Cunin, who will make the save with 10:47 to go in the first period. Still 1-0 Franklin Pierce.
Yeah, both teams playing fairly similar post. What they're doing differently is they're stretching, leaving a guy at the blue line in an effort just to get the puck deep so it's not icing, and then they're trying to create off their forecheck.
I think this is the first face-off inside the Eagles zone, won by the Eagles. Kennedy tried to chip it out, but a good job defensively by Nick Fish. This top line of the Ravens, Fish, Pick, and Paganini, have been on them all season. McCall gets his own deflected pass back and then turns it over to Fish. Fish tries to get it out. He does to Pick. Pick up on left wing to Paganini. Paganini dumps it in. Cunin will stick it to Glassroot, and goes behind his back and then turns it over. In front, comes with 1-2, the score! It's Paganini on the turnover by Glassroot, who came out from behind the net, had one opportunity, found his own rebound, and at 9:41, the Ravens take a 2-0 lead on Paganini's first of the playoffs. That should be unassisted, and his 22nd goal of the season to make it 2-0. Not the guy you want to turn it over to, Coach.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Post, you just got to take a breath here. Just got to take a breath. Relax. A lot of game left. More decisive plays. You have to dictate play better in the neutral zone. You cannot be turning pucks over.
These teams going in different directions, as we mentioned in the pregame. The Eagles 5-2-1 in their last 8. And Franklin Pierce 3-6-14 in their last 17. But it's a new season here in the playoffs, although it's 2-0 Franklin Pierce 10 minutes into the first period. We do know Franklin Pierce has been giving up nearly 6 goals a game over the last 17. So a lot of hockey still to go, but 2-0 Franklin Pierce here in period 1. Goal is Paganini unassisted at 9:41, his 22nd of the season, first of the playoffs. Face-off just outside the Eagle line. It's Murray. Murray won it momentarily, then it got turned over to Christensen at center. He'll give to his D partner Minor, and he'll rim it in. Kennedy up the wall, looking to find Kimball. It came right back to Kennedy. He'll get it out to McMains. McMains, long cross-ice pass to Murray. Murray couldn't control it. It goes off his stick. A hot pass. And Foster comes back the other way. Here's Chris Foster in over the line, looking for Drew White. He tried to get it to him. Instead, goes into the corner where Kennedy gets it to Rieger, and Rieger will have an opportunity to carry it out. Here's Owen Rieger to the red line, pass to Kimball. Kimball takes a funky bounce in, stopped by Connor, and then he leaves a rebound there for McMains to come by and swipe at it. But that's on Connor. He left the puck. He showed the puck. McMains came after it. Raven defense should be more upset with their goalie for doing that than anything else. So the face-off.
Well, the other point too is you got to see that player streaking through, right? If you're a defender, if I'm a goaltender, I'd kind of like you to be in that guy's skating lane so that he can't do that.
Santoro on the draw to Connor's right against John Sterling. 2-0 Franklin Pierce. 9:20 to go in the first period. Puck bouncing. Gazzardi comes up with it. Gazzardi on the half wall. Plays it down low. He'll skate it behind the net. Look to come out the other side. Instead, it gets onto Santoro's stick, who goes back to Pacheco. Pacheco avoids the D, but gets pushed right into the wall with a nice forecheck. And out the other way comes Frankel. Frankel for Franklin Pierce tries to go around Glasser. He uses that 6'7" frame and takes him off the puck. Swain gets out the center. Pacheco goes back to Glassrud inside his own zone. Goes behind his net. Long pass right up the middle. Goes off the stick of Cole Madzi and all the way down the ice. No icing. Eagles will change up. Hope dumps it in. Eagles will tag up. Nope, they're offside, so they'll have to go back and tag up. And out the other way comes Madzi. Madzi up on left wing to Orsillo's got an assist, closes in, looks to center, stick goes around the net, falls down. Still gets the puck over here on the half wall and around the net to Fret. Fret tried to center in front. Good job by Hope to take it away. Orsillo upset for falling down, and back comes McCall. McCall carries it in on right wing. Over the line, spins it back to the point to Hope. One-timer shot toward the net. Looking for a deflection, gets blocked. McCall comes away with it. That was Schweitzer. Comes back, gives it to O'Connell. O'Connell gives it down. Shot toward the net again. Blocked in front. That's at least the 6th or 7th block by this Franklin Pierce team so far. O'Connell keeps it in on the line. They'll say onside. His shot goes wide. Franklin Pierce trying to get it out, and they will, and they'll dump it out to center. Rieger inside his own zone. Eagle offense will change. And now Rieger, long pass up to Beckett. Beckett gets it to the red line, dumps it in, and will let Pekka chase after it. Pekka gets there first, wins the race. Pekka comes out, takes a shot toward the net. That's the flex off the netting in the near side crowd with 7:23 to go in the first period. Final from St. A's in overtime. Sean Connolly's second of the game. St. A's wins 5-4 after being down 4-1 in the third period.
That says a lot for both teams, really. Southern New Hampshire, bit of a tough season for them, but showing that they can still play against the best, and St. Anselm's rising to the occasion.
Kennedy's shot was stopped by Connor. He gets a rebound at the left point, and a centering pass by Howell blocked in front. Excuse me, that was Beckett blocked in front. Pekka still down there forechecking against Nick Fish. Fish trying to get it out, but a nice hit by Pekka keeps that puck inside the Raven zone. Howell will dump it in. Pekka goes back on the chase again as Christensen trying to rim it out. He gets a hit for his trouble. Puck comes out to the far side, and they finally get it out to center. But Rieger right there at the red line sends it right back in on Connor, who will make a save with 6:40 to go in the first period. Long pass out to Austin Pick. He kicked it back into his own, so no offsides, and gets it back out the center. Glasser inside his own zone. The Eagle captain. Long pass looking for Kimball. Don't know if he got it. They're going to say icing, and they say he didn't get it. As Minor back to touch. And a face-off deep inside the Eagle zone with 6:24 to go in the second. So St. A's the 3 seed. Will now play St. Mike's, the 2 seed, on Saturday in one of the semifinals. The winner of this one will now get Assumption in the other. Franklin Pierce up 2-0 on goals by Frankel and Paganini. Four players right in front of us trying to fight for that puck. It squirts free in front of the Zamboni door for a moment, but Pacheco played it right back. Then Murray comes in to help out, and there's going to be a penalty on Connor Murray for roughing at 13:55, and now the Eagles will go shorthanded for the first time. Franklin Pierce in the regular season, 25 for 131, 19.1%. They're third in the NE10 in the regular season. The Eagles second on the power play, 88 for 105, 83.8%, as I mentioned. Second, we welcome everybody watching the Southern New Hampshire St. A's game here on the variety of networks, including the Post University Sports Network. Franklin Pierce leads 2-0 and has their first power play of the game here with 6 minutes to go in period number 1. Good job by the Eagles to send it down the ice. Santoro, again, noticeable on the draws and defensively. Eagles trailing 2-0.
Yeah, Post has good penalty killers where if they get possession, they can potentially spring somebody.
Pick
right?
with a shot.
No icing, obviously, on a penalty kill. So they can spring somebody. They've got speed. They've got enough talent where they could do that.
Face off to Kudin's right. Santoro wins it, but Paganini came down low. Gazzardi found it and sent it all the way down the ice. So good job again by Santoro. Winning draws. Fish just threw his stick toward the broken, obviously, but toward the Franklin Pierce bench, didn't take it off the ice with him, so it's still laying there in center ice. Eagles do a good job again defensively again and get it out to center. I think one of the officials went and grabbed that stick, which was in the neutral zone. Puck dump back in. 1:12 remaining on the first power play of the game for Franklin Pierce. The 2-minute roughing minor on Connor Murray. 5 minutes to go in the first period. 2-0 Franklin Pierce. Stopped by Connor. He will leave it for his defenseman Joshua Tisdale. Excuse me, that's Minor. In over the line, turned it over to Schweitzer, sends it right back down.
Yeah, Pierce really
broken stick, by the way.
Unable to set up anything with this so far.
Tisdale now this time gets to center. He'll go behind his back to John Sterling. Sterling comes over here on right wing for Branish. Branish tried to bring it in, leaves it for Foster. Foster closes in, goes to the goal line. Now 3 Franklin Pierce players behind the net. Foster spins with it. Frankel in front. Puck comes back to the point to Branish. Branish on right point, moves around Pekka. Now he'll move down low. go back to the point to Tisdale. Tisdale, the center point. Fakes coming over here. Long shot toward the net, goes high and wide. Glassroof gets it, sends it off the top of the glass, in play, and all the way down the ice with 15 seconds remaining on the Franklin Pierce power play.
Yeah, posted a really good job on that with just beating Pierce to all those loose pucks.
Puck sent in by Frankel, the player who opened the scoring at 1:32. O'Connell will have it. Power play over. Franklin Pierce 0 for 1 on the man advantage. O'Connell fighting the man, leaving the puck. Gets a nice pass out to Gazzardi. Here's a 3-on-2 for the Eagles. Gazzardi up the middle, gives to Swain, over the line, comes over here for Santoro. Closing in with a shot that gets blocked again by a diving player for Franklin Pierce. O'Connell finds a loose puck. In front to backhand shot by Swain, and it goes. No! That puck does not go in the net somehow with 3:42 remaining in the first period. Swain had an opportunity. Santoro had an opportunity on the O'Connell shot. Looks like the net came off its moorings at the end as well.
Connor doing a great job, honestly, with his leg pads there, just smothering that thing.
Let's see if we have a replay on that or not. Doesn't look like we do. But Connor, another save. That's his biggest save of the game so far. Keeps us 2-0 Franklin Pierce. As Jeremy Connor again makes another save. Keeps it 2-0. Rieger can't keep it in as it's chipped out of the zone by Paravalitis. Puck sent in, chased by McGuire. McGuire lost the race in the corner, but now 4 players fighting for it. Pekka comes away with it. Pekka looking to get it back to Kennedy at the point. Kennedy makes a nice fancy move, comes over here for Rieger on right point. Rieger, he makes a move, closes in with a shot, stopped by Connor again. Top of the crease was Connor, and lots of traffic in front. He makes another nice save with 3:21 remaining in the first period. Still 2-0. But good work by Pekka, Kennedy, and Rieger. But even better work by Jeremy Connor.
Yeah, really nice job defensively. A little deception there, holding it, pulling it into their feet, and snapping that puck off and getting it through.
Powell and Sterling on the draw to the left of Connor. Eagles win that faceoff, but Franklin Pierce able to come away with it, similar to how they scored that first goal, and it's sent all the way down by Ursillo. Exactly how they scored that first goal, except this time Ursillo didn't have Frankel to pass it to. Puck pops free to center. Howell will have it. Howell looking for Kennedy, streaking down the middle. Kennedy finds it, gives it to Atkinson with a shot stopped by Connor. Atkinson found a loose puck, cruised in, another save. Now Pekka playing left point, takes a shot off the leg of Sterling. It goes into the corner. Howell will chase after it, but brought out by Branish, and finally out the center comes Ursillo. Ursillo gives to Sterling. Sterling brings it in over the line on right wing, centers it toward the net all the way through. Nobody there, and it goes through the crease. And then a shot taken on the other side by Branish, blocked, and the Eagles get it back out the center. Kennedy inside his own zone, 2:35 remaining in the first period, 2-0 Franklin Pierce. Long pass up ahead, deflected by Franklin Pierce, so no icing, didn't get to the goal line anyway, and sent back out the center. Murray forechecking in on Tisdale. Tisdale does a nice job to feed a pass out to Austin Pick. Pick gives to Paganini. Paganini shot toward the net wide. Past Kunin, nowhere for him to make a save, but then the rebound sent around over here to Paganini. He gets hit by Murray. An attempted recenter to Fish, and out come the Eagles with Pacheco. 3-on-2. Pacheco over the line, gives to Kimball, goes a long way across the slot looking for McMains, with a good job at back-checking rather, by Fish to prevent that opportunity. McMains behind the net with Kimball. Puck behind the net, picked up by Fish. He'll come out the far side, feed it up the wall, and out to center with some deft touch. And then Paganini gets rubbed out for his efforts. Doesn't seem to be any kind of penalty there, and here's Pacheco. Pacheco up the middle of McMains with 90 seconds to go in the first. McMains over the line, tries to go 1-on-2. He's taken out of the play, and the third player, Paravalitis, rimmed it all the way around the boards. Puck not out as McCall does a good job forechecking, sends it back behind the net. Miner will chase after, trying to avoid the check of Norling. Hope found the puck at the point. He took a shot. Another block by Franklin Pierce. It's got to be close to double digits here in the first period by this Franklin Pierce defense, which has been poor to say the least over the last 2 months. But today playing well and have a 2-0 lead. Shot from the point. Big right pad save by Kunin. Something to bookmark as Christensen found a loose puck back at the point and blasted one with a minute to go in the first period. Kunin keeping this 1-0. Christensen again blocked this time by McCall, and now Beckett runs into his own man Norling trying to get it out. He finally does. Goes high in the air, and the Eagle offense able to go for a line change, and they're going to call an icing as that puck And the referee trying to figure out who was on the ice and put everybody back with 45.2.
Yeah, that's one of those plays where you just got to take a breath and get your head up and realize you have time, or your teammate yelling, you got time. Don't need an icing there at this point.
I will say that puck had legs. Didn't seem like he put a lot on it. That puck had legs.
He hoisted that with his backhand there. He's been working on that hoist.
Hope gets to O'Connell. Norling goes right off the ice to get a fresh man. O'Connell inside his own zone. Chips it out to that fresh man. It's Scotty Swain. Swain takes his own pass back from Beckett. Gives it to McCall over the line. Looking for Swain. Swain, like a house of fire here in the last 45 seconds, goes down inside the Raven zone. A couple other Eagles able to line changes. Swain forechecking Gazzardi on the ice. Gazzardi doing a good job pinching on Branish. Eagles trying to find that puck, and Swain and Gazzardi. Swain came up with it again, sent it behind the net. Gazzardi chases after it again. Puck sent out to the far side corner with 10 seconds remaining in the period. Santoro finds it though on the half wall. Santoro with time, looking to center it across. He does. He finds Gazzardi. There's an opportunity, and Connor robbed him again. Santoro sent it to the net. Gazzardi found a loose puck off a deflection. He had time, space, and a lot of net, but Connor robbed him with 3.5 to go in the first period.
Post is going to get opportunities if they can pressure hard like that in the offensive zone. There's no question.
Face off to Connor's right with 3.5 to go in the first. It'll be Santoro for the Eagles on the draw. Puck stays right there. Kennedy tried to pinch in for a shot toward the net. Blocked again on his shot by Cole Madzi. And after 20 minutes of play here in playoff game, 5 seed versus 4 seed, Franklin Pierce with a goal at 1:32 and 9:41 have a 2-0 lead. Coach thought the Eagles played better in the last 5 minutes, but sloppy on both of the goals. A 2-on-1 off a face-off win, and a turnover by Glasser behind the net.
Yeah, 2 miscues by Post, and that's something they got to clean up for sure.
That's where we are, 20 minutes in, end of 1 here at the Sports Center of Connecticut. Eagles trail Franklin Pierce 2-0. Stay with us. We'll go around the Post-University sports scene, a playoff edition of going around the Post-University sports scene here on the Post-University Sports Network. We'll be back in 2 minutes. You're listening and watching the Post-University Hockey on the Post-University Sports Network. First period intermission here at the Sports Center of Connecticut, where Franklin Pierce on 2 goals have a 2-0 lead. Both teams 0 for 1 on the man advantage in this one. Jeff Nelson here high atop in the broadcast center here for Post University. And the first period intermission, we go around the Post University sports scene. This will be a playoff edition of that. And it's brought to you by Post University and its 17 NCAA Division II athletic programs, from its nationally ranked men's soccer team, who have made the NCAA playoffs 4 years in a row, to the brand new women's flag football team slated to start this weekend with road games getting underway. Post offers a variety of sports in every season you can enjoy, whether a student, a parent, or a fan. For more information on Post University athletics, news, scores, and upcoming schedules for all your favorite teams, please go to posteagles.com. That's posteagles.com. Eagle fans, it would appear the weather might finally be getting better after a blizzard dumped 20-something inches on us. Maybe it'll get a little bit warmer, but better yet, spring break right around the corner. What better way to showcase your favorite team than by getting Post University branded items and swag? Go to posteagles.com, click on the Fans tab, then choose School Store on the left-hand side and shop till you drop for all the latest Eagle gear and apparel. Shop today and use the code EXTRA20 to receive 20% off any order of $75 or more. Exclusions do apply. That's code EXTRA, EXTRA20, EXTRA20. It will expire tomorrow, Wednesday, February 25th. You can also visit the campus store in the Lever Student Center on campus. It's open Monday through Thursday, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Let's start with the women's ice hockey team. They are 7th in the NEWHA. That's where they finished. 10-17-1 in conference, 10-23-1 overall. 33 points. They will start a 3-game playoff series, best 2 out of 3 playoff series, against Assumption on Friday night here at the Sports Center of Connecticut. 3 p.m. puck drop for Game 1. They are the 7th seed, the road team, but they'll host Game 1 Friday at 3 p.m. here at the Sports Center of Connecticut. Come check that game out if you are around, or catch it on the Post University Sports Network. Game 2 will be at Assumption on Saturday, 4:10 p.m., and if necessary, Game 3 will be a Sunday at Assumption, 7 p.m., up at Assumption. Assumption finished the season 7-14-3 overall, 17-8-3 in conference, 55 points. So the Eagles, the 7 seed, will play the number 2 seed Assumption and host Game 1 on Friday. Good luck to Coach Brandon Brown, the youngest in Division I, and his hockey team, who have, despite being the 7 seed, have been very competitive this year. We wish them luck as they move forward in the NEWHA playoffs. Women's basketball coming off a 63-50 victory over Goldie Beacom on Saturday. They moved to 12-12 on the season. They're on a 4-game winning streak. 9-9 in conference, currently tied for 6th. They have clinched a spot in the CACC women's playoffs. They are at Dominican tomorrow and at Georgian Court on Saturday to round out the regular season. The conference tourney will start on March 3rd. Still to be determined who they will play in the first round of the CACC playoffs. Good luck to the women. 4-game winning streak and now 2 in a row to end the season. Men's basketball, what can you say about the men? A 99-92 victory over Goldie Beacom on Saturday. A 73-point second half, one of the largest halftime scores in program history. Moved to 11-15 overall, 10-8 in conference. They're the 5 seed currently on the men's side of the bracket. They are at Dominican on Wednesday at 7:30 and at Georgian Court at 4:30 on Saturday. Again, they're the 5 seed currently. They've clinched a spot in the CACC basketball playoffs, and those playoffs will start on March 3rd as well. Still to be determined who is playing where. Baseball's had a bit of a Jekyll and Hyde start, although that happens when you play the number 1 team in the country in the University of Tampa. They lost all 3 of those games to the University of Tampa, but since then they are 3-2 and currently on a 3-game winning streak as they defeated Mercy University, Southern Connecticut, and Malloy over the weekend. The latter 19-12 down in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Now, they have been unable to get out of Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, to the best of my knowledge, due to the ridiculous weather, so they've just stayed there, knowing they have games against Cedarville University this weekend down in Asheboro, North Carolina, which is a bus ride away. So they have a 4-game set with Cedarville, 2 on Saturday, 2 on Sunday. They'll then play down in Boca Raton for 4 games against Bentley, Malloy, and Lynn University in a variety of games before finally opening their home portion of the schedule on March 11th at Municipal Stadium against Caldwell University. So the Eagles right now 3-5 on a 3-game winning streak after starting the season on a 5-game losing streak. Congratulations to 5 Eagles between men's lacrosse, men's basketball, and baseball, all honored with CACC awards. Ryan Deneke is the CACC Player of the Week in men's lacrosse. He had 3 goals and 2 assists in the opening win for the Eagles. They hopefully will play tomorrow, the lacrosse team, up at Lamoille Field at 3 p.m., but I think that's depending on whether they can get all the snow off the field. I don't know the status of that, but If you can't make it live out there to Lemoy Field, you can catch it on the Post University Sports Network. CACC Defensive Player of the Week for men's lacrosse is Charlie Foster of the Eagles. He was 13 for 19 in the faceoff dot and helped the Eagles with a 14-6 win over AIC. Liam McCurry on the honor roll for men's lacrosse, as the goaltender made 12 saves, allowing only 6 goals. Jaron Foster for baseball made the honor roll, as he had a 10 for 21 weekend for the Eagles down in Myrtle Beach. And Derek Thomas, the second, made honor roll for men's basketball. Eagles had a 1-1 week basketball-wise, but won Saturday 99-92 with a 73-point second half. Thomas scored 30 points on 12 of 23 shooting and was 18 for 38 from three-point range along the way. Also made 7 out of 8 free throws over the course of the week. So congratulations to all 5 Eagles who make a variety of awards during the past week. And we'll wrap it up with women's flag football, which starts this weekend. If the schedule would like to come up. And there we go, schedule comes up. They will play Manor College on Saturday at 1:30 p.m., then Holy Family at 3 down in Philadelphia. The home opener for women's flag football on the Post University Sports Network will be March 8th. That's a Sunday against Wagner College, 11 o'clock and 12:30 p.m. So come out to Lemoy Field and cheer on your Lady Eagles in flag football. Year number 1 as a program as this institution and sports continue to grow. That's your look around the Post University sports scene. The playoff edition here from the Sports Center of Connecticut will come back in 90 seconds with Coach Whitney's view of the first period and a recap of it. You're listening and watching the Post University hockey on the Post University Sports Network. First period intermission here at the Sports Center of Connecticut. Jeff Nelson, the coach Pete Whitney here with you. Eagles trail 2-0. Well, how'd that happen? Well, the Eagles won a face-off, but Franklin Pierce came up with the puck and came down on a 2-on-1. Giovanni Ursello, the sophomore out of Boise, Idaho, sent it across to his fellow Western teammate Isaiah Frankel out of San Diego, California. And Frankel walked in down the slot and found a backhand past Ben Kunin to make it 1-0 at 1:32. Give John Sterling an assist as well, as he's the one who found Ursillo with a nice chip, taking it off an Eagle stick. And the Ravens led 1-0. That's how we played for a solid 8 minutes. And then behind the net, Captain Tanner Glasser sent it behind the net, but the only player there was Mario Paganini. He found the puck, came out on the near side, took one shot that Kunin stopped, found a rebound on the second shot, and buried it past Kunin to make it 2-0 at 9:41 for his first of the playoffs, 22nd of the season overall. Shots on goal in the first period do sort of tell the story. Eagles 15, Franklin Pierce 10, but a lot of those shots, some really excellent shots and some great saves by Connor, but also some long shots that were easily stopped by Connor. Faceoffs 13-8 Eagles in the first period. Coach, not the worst period the Eagles have played overall, but two big mistakes put 2 goals behind Cunene. Franklin Pierce has been giving up a lot of goals, and Connor robbed them at least twice in the first period. So they're not out of this game by a long shot, but they do need to get some goals.
Right. I think when I'm looking at it, I think Post is gripping the stick a little too tight right now. Maybe a little bit of the jitters, hosting their first playoff game at home. But what I'm saying is when Post has possession in the zone and they get between the dots in front of the Franklin Pierce net, and once they start moving that puck, Franklin Pierce is losing their assignments. So there are openings. There will be rebounds to find. The other thing is when they come deep and they come hard with pressure, everything collapses, and those points are also available. We've seen that quite a few times. So I think Post just needs to use that to their advantage. Be hungry, win those battles in those dirty areas between the dots, and they can start putting some pucks in the net here.
Team's about ready to take the ice for the start of the second period. Eagles trail 2-0. While we have you, as this win, lose, or draw now that St. A's has won against Southern New Hampshire in the other playoff game, the 3-6 battle, 5-4 in overtime. This will be the last post-university home broadcast of the season, as there isn't a path to hosting another home game unless somebody's arena collapses or something. We want to thank everybody who's listened to us all season long, and thank you for joining us. Coach and I have enjoyed broadcasting for you. Hopefully you've enjoyed listening to us. Also, thank you to everybody who makes this happen. Mike Vesey, Kristen Brown, and everybody up here who makes us look as good as hopefully we sound. Coach, we're going to do a little trivia for you that you're not going to be able to answer until the start of the third period.
All right.
So for everybody listening and watching, use the chat feature to see if you can answer this question. I have no prizes to offer you, but a little fun here as we try to be a little more interactive. The question is, the Eagles have won one home playoff game. They're 1-0 all time. Who scored the game-winning goal in that playoff game? Back in 2022 against St. Mike's. Coach's last home game. His last home win also. As coach before he got sent to hang out with me. Actually, to be fair, Coach chose to hang out with me, which...
It's been a pleasure.
Even better. Eagles get the puck out, and a nice chip by Swain. Gazzardi tried to pick it up, but it comes back to Rieger at center. So who scored the game-winning goal in the Eagles' playoff game, home win, their only home playoff win in history back in 2022? Put that in the chat if you will. We'll announce a winner if we have one. Eagles take a penalty, though, as Rieger will get 2 for holding at 23 seconds, and Franklin Pierce will go right back to the man advantage. As they were 0 for 1 in the first period, as were the Eagles, but now the Eagles have to kill off another power play. They did a good job on the first one, but Owen Rieger, one of their better penalty killers in the box, 2 for holding at 23 seconds.
Yeah, they just got to pressure and not let Franklin Pierce get set up.
Murray lost that draw, but then the Eagles able to get it out. Chasing after it is Kimball. Kimball trying to win the race to it. Taken nicely by Pick, who uses that backhand and now starts ahead with a head of steam. Up on right wing, he's in over the line with the shot that Cunene holds. Had no screen in front because he outraced his entire team. But Austin Pick takes a shot from about 25 feet out. All of that took 14 seconds and a face-off deep inside the Raven zone.
Yeah, Austin Pick, love his foot speed, love his determination. He can be a difference maker.
Macau and Fish to the left of Cunene. Won by Fish clean, but past the forward and back to Pick on right point. He plays point on the power play. Kennedy up on the near side corner tries to pinch it up to half wall. Macau over there. Now a 4-man scrum right in front of the Franklin Pierce bench, and the Ravens come away with it. Holding and waiting is Fish. Fish back to the point for a shot toward the net that's stopped by Cunene, as there was a man in front this time. Back to the point again to McGuire. McGuire gives to Fish, comes over here to Pick. Pick takes a shot toward the net, deflected in front. It lay there for a moment, a shot into Cunene. The puck's still loose. Put Cunene down, 9 players in the crease. The puck there, finally the whistle blows. I have no idea who's under it. I got to presume it's Cunene. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I said 9. 6 players in the crease. Puck was loose for a long time. Looks like Ben finally got on top of it. A minute 11 to go in the power play. 1:13 gone in the second period. Also a bit of a wrestling match at the end as someone from Franklin Pierce got tossed by an Eagle. No penalty. Although the Eagles do have to be careful about taking an additional penalty, being down 2-0. Don't want to let this get to 3-0. Then the Eagles, that's something the Eagles have not been able to pull off all season. Tisdale. Long shot from the point, deflected away from Kunin. Hope does a good job to chase it in the far side corner, and he'll send it all the way down the ice. Tisdale behind his own net, comes out the near side, looks to go across to Miner, sent it a little bit too far. That gives Gazzardi an opportunity to pinch. And now here's Santoro. Santoro on left wing, might have a 2-on-1 with Gazzardi. He holds, he waits, he shoots, looks for the corner, goes high, takes a funky bounce off the glass, and comes right back into the slot area, and then it gets sent all the way down on a long pass. The Eagles do a good job playing defense. Nice job by Pacheco sending it up to Murray. A little bit too far. Miner has it. Murray tries to forecheck Miner, rolls off his stick. Murray hits Miner. 20 seconds remaining on the second Franklin Pierce power play. And here's Tisdale. Tisdale comes up on right wing, being manhandled by Murray all the way. He keeps going, tries to center it in front. It got blocked. And it's sent behind the net. Pacheco there. Murray tries to help out. Sent back to the right point to Miner. Power play about to expire. Here's Miner. Holds, waits, top of the near circle. Gives it over here. Look for a long shot that gets deflected around by Sterling. Finally out of the box comes McMains, and he picks up the puck. Here's McMains off the bench, rather. As Rieger came out, he gets held. There's going to be a penalty. He hits the crossbar on a hard wrist shot. There's going to be a penalty. Let's see if it's a penalty shot. Holding on Cade Miner. As Rieger came out of the box, went right to the bench because they're right next to each other. McMains came out, took a pass, fell down, got held, took a penalty, and ripped the wrist shot off the crossbar. All of this happened in a 10-second span, and a penalty to Miner, 2 for holding at 2:33, and the Eagles back to the second power play.
Great opportunity for Post here as
Rieger
Franklin Pierce was kind of off their game a little bit with their power play, a little bit shaky on that, and now they got to go kill.
Eagles had a shorthanded opportunity and then the partial breakaway after the power play expired. The second post of the game hit by an Eagle as well. And now on the power play, here's Santoro going across with a heavy pass looking for Howell, picked up by Kimball on the other side. Kimball on the near side, comes all the way back to the point, gives to Kennedy center point. Kennedy, Rieger moving, picks it up center point, and a nice pass from Kennedy. Gives to Kimball, he takes a shot and fanned on it. Santoro in there to get the rebound, he'll play it up the half wall. Back to Rieger, top of the near circle, gives back to Santoro. Over to Kennedy. Kennedy to Santoro. Santoro waits, holds, fakes, shoots! Right on, rebound, score! It's Jacob Howell on the power play, and at 3:18 on a beautiful setup from Santoro and Kennedy. The Eagles get that goal back, cut the lead in half, it's 2-1.
And that's exactly what we were just talking about, taking advantage of the fact that, again, Franklin Pierce shaky on the power play, take a penalty, Post capitalizes.
And all the big wigs on that goal, Coach, at 3:18. That's going to be Howell's 8th of the year, his team leading 8th of the year from Santoro and Kennedy at 3:18, and a power play goal gives the Eagles life, and now they trail 2-1.
Eagles goal scored by number 20.
Puck sent up the half wall in the Ravens zone. Puck picked up away. McMains again chasing a puck, and again another Franklin Pierce stick just sort of laying in the neutral zone. That's the third one today. So that's about $1,000 worth of sticks that have been lost by Franklin Pierce players in the first 25 minutes. Eagles try to get the puck out. They turn it over just shy of the blue line, sent right back in by Nick Fish. Fish forechecking in the corner. Rieger there as well, and the Eagles do a good job to get the puck out. Pass to McMains, rolls off his stick, sent right back in by McGuire, but a nice job by Kennedy to keep it from going deep. He'll play it back in the zone, wait, look for an outlet, gets to McCall. McCall spins at his blue line, looks for McMains. McMains finds it, gets it up ahead to Beckett, gives a nice pass back to McCall. Here's McCall over the line with a backhand stop by Connor. Eagles send it up the wall. There's that stick, dangerously so. McMains tries to find it, took a shot. That stick, though, sort of messed with him a little bit. And McCall picks it up in the far side corner. McMains down there as well. McMains spins off a check. Nicely done. Gives to McCall. McCall closing in. Puck taken off his stick. As Hope finds it at the point, he'll send it toward the net. McMains looking for the corner with a turnaround slapper. He goes off on a line change. O'Connell pinches in, sends it behind the net as Schweitzer comes out. Norling out there as well as he came off the bench. Nice job to forecheck. Puck rimmed around, but nobody there at the point. Hope races for it, keeps it in momentarily, and sends it all the way around from near to far. Schweitzer on the half wall, goes behind the net to Norling. 2 Franklin Pierce players watching him as Howell cruises the slot. Norling back to a point to O'Connell. O'Connell waits down, sends it around. Chasing after it is Hope. He'll pinch in from his point position, come up with a send the toward the net right on, and a stop by Connor, and then that puck sent all the way down the ice. What should be an icing as O'Connell races for it. And the Eagles now forechecking and keeping that puck deep in the Raven zone, Coach, for a solid 35 seconds, and that'll lead to another faceoff.
Yeah, they won every foot race to the puck on that shift.
That goal picked them up.
every foot race they won.
That goal definitely picked them up a little bit. I think there was a little frustration in the first.
Yeah, no question.
Santoro wins that faceoff back to Swain. Swain, nice pass to Kennedy. Kennedy, another Franklin Pierce stick on the ice. Kennedy tries to keep it in. He does at the blue line with a nice play. Swain, though, had to take it off his stick, and the puck sent out to center. Ravens have not had a chance to get a line change as they couldn't on the icing, so now Santoro will chase in forechecking. Connor will backhand it up the far side. Gazzardi in forechecking, kept it at the point by Kennedy. Kennedy, though, had it chopped off his stick just over the blue line. Eagles will have to tag up. Kennedy chops at it. Swain pinches in. Swain comes up with it. Swain goes forward with it. He keeps going, gets taken down. Is there going to be a penalty? There will be. And the Eagles right back to the man advantage with Scotty Swain in the speed drawing it at 5:45. The Eagles 1 for 2 on the man advantage, and now they're back on the power play.
Yeah, that group was just dead tired, and Post was able to take advantage of that. And again, we've seen this momentum. We've seen the momentum of the penalty kill, the power play, a long extended forechecking opportunity. Team unable to make a change. Back to the power play.
Madzi 2 for tripping at 5:45. As you said, that Raven line was out there for a very, very long time. Only one of those players got off on a line change in over a 90-second span. Murray, O'Connell looks in front for a tip. He got it by Pekka, but it went over the net. McCowell then checked. Brandish tried to rip it up the wall. He turned it over. Murray, far side of the ice, top of the far circle. Has it, holds, waits, shoots, looks for a deflection again. It goes off Pekka, bounces off Pekka, goes to McCowell on the far side corner. He'll go back to O'Connell on left point. O'Connell now center point to Norling. One time he scores! Norling from the top of the near circle, ripped the pass by O'Connell, and the Eagles are 2 for 3 on the man advantage. 2 for 2 in the period, and at 6:16, this game is tied at 2. Simple enough hockey, Coach. Pass, shoot, score.
Yeah, and again, 2 power play goals.
2 in 2 minutes and 58 seconds as well, as that should be Norling his 6th of the season from O'Connell, and I believe it's going to be McCowell at 6:16. So the Eagles erase that 2-0 deficit, both on power play goals, and now the Eagles with an opportunity again. They have Atkinson on a breakaway. He's over the line. He's got Howell coming with him. In front to Howell. He gets taken down into the net. The net off its moorings as Howell went charging in. And now Franklin Pierce players pulling Howell off. That was kind of interesting as Howell drove the net, and then John Sterling kept his teammate Cade Minor from cross-checking Howell, wisely so rather, as Howell was driving the net, got taken in the Connor. And it was just interesting watching Sterling kind of pull his teammate away from probably taking another penalty.
Yeah, if you're Franklin Pierce right now, you got to have a little bit of poise, right? And you got to understand that 5-on-5, you were pretty good. 5-on-4, not so good. Stay out of the box.
2-2. Eagles 2 goals in 2 minutes and 58 seconds. It's Howell his 7th and Norling his 6th. Both on the power play, and the Eagles have a 2-2 tie, rather. I was going to say 2-0 lead, but it's 2-2 tie. As it's a hockey game again, we talked about it. The Eagles came back on Friday twice by 1 goal, something they really hadn't done all season. Most of the time, the Eagles have sort of jumped ahead and then been caught, and that's how they've ended up losing, or jumped ahead and managed to win because Ben has 5 shutouts. Friday, they were down 1 goal twice and then had a 4-goal third period. Today, down 2 goals. They've now tied it, but lots of hockey to go. Still 33 minutes of game time to go. Santoro on the draw. Wins it clean, too clean, as he sent it back to Kennedy and outside the zone. Rieger gets to the red line, dumps it high in. Can't be gloved by Connor. Instead, he played it off the pads. That keeps the puck alive. And out comes the top line with Sterling. Sterling over the line. Sorry, that's the second line. Back the Eagles come the other way. Here's Rieger with speed. Closing in, looking across. He had Swain, but couldn't get it there. Might have taken a high stick, but no call. Santoro behind the net. Another Franklin Pierce stick goes missing. Here's Kennedy. Scores! In the slot. He found the puck on a pass by Santoro. And the team's leading scorer with his 4th of the year, his 17th point. He crashed himself into the wall. And at 7:15, the Eagles take a 3-2 lead. All set up by the pop fly that couldn't be controlled by Connor. And, Coach, the Eagles have 3 goals in 4 minutes.
Yeah, right now Franklin Pierce has no answer to post speed. That's the difference maker. They're beating him to every puck in the zone, and they're reacting instead of reading plays and just giving that space to Post, who's doing a great job of taking advantage of all that.
Give Santoro the primary assist. I don't know who will get the secondary assist. It wasn't announced. At 7:15, so 2 goals in 59 seconds for the Eagles as Santoro made that gorgeous play to Kennedy. He was 25 feet out between the top of the circles and ripped that wrist shot by Connor, and it's 3-2 Eagles after they were trailing 2-0. Glasser nearly turns it over in his own zone, being checked by Foster. Foster, and he turned it over to Murray, and here come the Eagles back the other way again. Popped it up in the air, off the boards. Eagles onside. Here's McMains. McMains tried to center it to Kimball, but get chopped off his stick. The Eagle defense not pinching in this time, and Foster chips it up the wall to White. Drew White gets to the red line, dumps it around from far to near. Picked up over here by Paravalotis. 2 Eagles in there forechecking in that near side corner. Drew White in there helping out for Franklin Pierce. Puck comes free behind the net, ribs to Glassrud. Behind the net, goes out the far side, up the ice, and all the way down. This might be an icing, but McMains is going to win the race, so no icing. Good job by the Eagles to keep that speed. McMains avoids the icing. He's being held, looking for a penalty. Not going to get that one. And then played out the center to O'Connell. O'Connell back to Glassrud. Long pass up here for Schweitzer. Schweitzer with a tip. Would have been better to play it. Turned it over. Schweitzer gets it back as Franklin Pierce turned it over. And now back in the Eagle zone is Cade Miner. Miner gets to the blue line, dumps it, but then turned it over. Then the Eagles turn it over right back as the team's playing a bit of catch right now. Long pass from center, goes wide of the net, but then Hope keeps it in. Hope cruises in. They're going to say offsides, although that didn't look offsides. And the referee, I'm not sure if he said it was late or was saying my bad, but either way, it's offsides at the line. One thing of note, too, Coach, and I don't know if it's just probably more fluke than anything else, but at least on 5 occasions in this game so far, the Ravens have lost or broken a stick. Broken sticks are more of a fluke, but the losing the stick, and that's what happened on the Santoro play, on the Kennedy goal, rather, is that another stick of a Ravens was dumped in the Ravens zone. That gave Santoro the lane to make the pass to Kennedy, and Kennedy buried that shot. Yeah, it might be more of a fluke than anything else, but just one of the noticeable things we've seen in the first 29 minutes here.
Yeah, there's been a lot of sticks on the ice.
Pekka keeps it in after a shot by Howe, goes back to the D. Kennedy holds, waits. He's got 2 points in the game. Long shot from the point looking for the deflection. He gets it of Howe, but it goes into the corner. Atkinson in there. Atkinson pinned to the wall. Chipped up the wall to Paganini, who's got a goal in this game for the Ravens. He made it 2-0. Back the other way comes Fish backhands it towards the net, pops free in the slot. Kennedy does a good job to get it out the center where Madzi will play it. Madzi looks back for Pick. Pick dumps it in, Kennedy chasing after, and that's what the Eagles have done. They forced the Ravens to really just chip it in and try to go fight for it while the Eagles are running up and down, skating up and down the ice, rather. Here comes Howell. Howell picks up a loose puck on right wing. He's in 2-on-1, takes a shot, and a big blocker save by Connor, as the house might have come down had that one gone in. Back the other way comes Branish. Branish in over the line looking for Paganini. Paganini turned it over, or couldn't control rather, and back comes Pacheco. Pacheco gets to the red line, turns it over right at the Raven line, and Branish has it. Branish, long pass, had an open man. If he could have controlled it, Matthew Frett would have had a break on right wing, but back comes the other way, comes Levan. Levan comes in with a shot, stopped by Kudin, his first save in a long time. I think since that scramble on the power play where they had the 6 guys in the crease. And we're midway through the hockey game, 9:59 to go in the second. The Eagles now with a 3-2 lead. 3 goals in 3:57.
Franklin Pierce is going to have to get pucks to the net and try to create something that way, because Post is doing a great job of smothering, taking away time and space, hard for them to really set up and do anything.
Swain gets mauled in the corner. Hope comes in to help out. Puck comes free to Pekka. Pekka on the half wall with a nice pass up ahead to O'Connell. Gives to Gazzardi. 1-on-1. Gazzardi closes it. Uses his speed. It goes through the crease and almost into the net. I don't know if that would have counted because Gazzardi kind of kicked it in with his feet. But it went through the crease. Connor couldn't control it and came out the other side. And a big hit at center between Fret and Gazzardi. But on the stick of McMahons. McMahons gives to Swain. Swain closes in with a shot. Stopped by Connor. Back to the point to Kennedy. Kennedy closes in with a shot high. Blockered away by Connors. The Eagles are all over the Ravens now. Offense changing behind the play. Santoro pinned Brandish to the wall. Brandish looks injured as he tries to skate himself off. I'll say hurt, not injured. Back the other way comes Fret with a shot. He's able to get to the bench, is Brandish. But Santoro sort of held up when he realized Brandish was hurt. Back the other way comes Kennedy. Turns it over to Hope. Hope sends it in. Eagles will change up the rest of the players, and here's Franklin Pierce inside their own zone. Long pass looking for Fret. Finds it. He'll dump it in. Now the Ravens will go after it on the forecheck. Kunin rims it around to the near side wall looking for Keenan Howard. Howard tries to find the puck. Chipped up the wall. The Eagles try to get out, but they can't. Kept in. Christensen with a long shot. Blocked in front. It deflected toward Kunin, who kicked it into the corner. Picked up by Sterling and sent it toward the net. Kunin makes that save. Glassroot behind the net. Now he'll try to get it out. Fine. Kimball will just get it over the blue line. And now the Ravens with a little bit of pressure, trailing 3-2. Sterling back in the other way, up on left wing. Murray down there to forecheck and help out. Frankel, who opened the scoring a long time ago, turned it over, and the Eagles come back the other way. A highlight cesta type play down the ice. This could be an icing, but a good job by Kimball to force Christensen to play it, so no icing there. That's the second time the Eagles have avoided an icing by using their speed and getting on the Franklin Pierce defense. McCall picks up a loose puck at center. O'Connell fanned on his pass. He'll get it to McCall the second time, and then Frankel seals it and brings it back the other way. Puck bouncing at center. Frankel goes around O'Connell, chases after it, but Pacheco does a good job backing him up. He'll rim it around the wall, and there's going to be too many men on the ice for Franklin Pierce as 6 guys were on the ice, and number 6 played it. The Raven defenseman did get off the ice, and at 12-13, the Eagles go back to another power play. They're 2 for 2 in the period, 2 for 3 in the game, but it's all the speed of the Eagles, coach. They're forcing these turnovers.
Yeah, and you know that this is right now it's in the head of Franklin Pierce. The last thing they want is this with a team that's so hot in the power play department right now.
And after such a great first period that they played, blocking shots and everything that they've done, they've given up 3 in the period, 2 power play goals, so too many men on the ice. A bench minor to Franklin Pierce being served by Max Christensen. And the Eagles 2 for 3 on the man advantage will have their 4th power play of the game. Nice job on a blocked dump down the ice to keep it in. Kennedy, long shot for Rieger, gets blocked, popped up in the air. Santoro feeding it in front to Howell. Had a 10-bell stop made by Connor as Santoro made that look pretty sneaky. Ended up with a little chop pass to Howell at a backhand. Howell's already got a goal in this period.
Yeah, all of a sudden, too, like the foot speed of Franklin Pierce, they all seem to be labored skating right now with the pace that Post is putting up. They can't quite get there.
Rieger picks it up right here in front of us. Instead of giving it, goes to the far side. Comes over here for Howell. Howell gives back to Kennedy. Kennedy center point over here for Howell. This is right where Howell scores. Sends it toward the net. Nice stop by Connor. Rieger picked it up on the other side. He'll take another shot. Rebound sent to Santoro, who took a backhand. Ended up chipping it behind the net into the Zamboni corner. He's being checked all the way up the ice. He'll dump it down toward that Zamboni corner. Then a fan on the dump out. Santoro keeps it in. Gives to Kennedy center point. Comes over here for Kimball. Kimball. Back to Kennedy, center point. Back to Kimball, top of the near circle. Goes back to Kennedy. He's got Rieger on the far side if he wants him. Toward the net. Does Kennedy take a shot? Kennedy take a shot, rather. And it was stopped by Connor. Kind of an interesting play, as I think Connor was a little shocked, but he made the save. Eagles still have it in the whole time for basically the minute 30 this power play has gone on. Howell gives back to Santoro, far circle. Comes over here for Kimball. Kimball. Back to O'Connell, and it split the D, and it goes all the way down the ice.
Yeah, the first time that puck essentially got out, it was just from a miscue from Post.
But the Eagles, 3 or 4 opportunities on the power play so far. Connor made a couple of good saves, including a little tricky shot by Kennedy. Now O'Connell all the way in by himself, looking for a penalty. Not going to get that one, although it could have been called. Puck sent toward the Eagle line, played by Macau as the power play is about to expire. Pekka brings it back in over the line. Pekka holds, waits, has time, gives to Murray as the power play has expired. The Eagles now 2 for 4. Murray as the player for Franklin Pierce is taking a long time to get back into the play. Sent back to O'Connell, far point. O'Connell looks across for Norling, who was skirting through, and the puck finally sent out to center. That was a long time for that Franklin Pierce player to come back out. Here's Sterling up on left wing, brings it in over the Eagle line, takes a shot towards the net, right pad save by Kunin, and now here come the Eagles on a 3-man fly, might be a 4-man fly. Here's McCall in over the line on right wing, waits, holds, waits. Top of the near circle, gives it down low right on the goal line to Norling, who has a ton of time and space. Sends it across. Might have been looking for Schweitzer more than sending it off the pads of Connor, but it deflected past Connor and into the corner. Now out comes Glassford. Glassford with the backhand toward the net. It lay there at the bottom of the slot. Finally sticked away, and Sterling has it inside the Raven zone. He'll go high in the air and then gloved ahead by Frankel, stopped by Kunin, as the Ravens need a full line change with 5 minutes to go in the second. 3-2 Eagles, as they scored 3 goals in 3:57. Here's Swain with speed. Over the line, he'll dump it in. He'll win his own dump as Christensen can't get there. Swain spins away, leaves for Gazzardi. Gazzardi spins. Gazzardi behind the net, leaves it for Swain. He comes out the near side, goes back to Pacheco, takes a shot that's blocked. Swain keeps it in. Gives to Schweitzer. Schweitzer gives it down to Gazzardi. Gazzardi checked on the wall by Miner. Looking for Swain, comes over here to Schweitzer. He does a good job to get a stick on it. Miner chips it up the high wall and out to center to Glassroot. Action fast and furious as the Eagles are doing a good job keeping it in. And is that going to be an icing? I think they said Glassroot was on the wrong side of the red line, so an icing.
Yep.
With 4:13 to go in the second period. Coach, the Eagles have done a great job here, hemming Franklin Pierce inside their own zone for 45 seconds at a clip.
Well, it's all about pace, right? We talked about that, and their pace is quick, but they've altered it a little bit where they're able to control the puck now, and they've really got Franklin Pierce back on their heels. Franklin Pierce right now in this period, and I'm sure they'll talk about it between periods, they do not have an answer for post intensity at this point.
Gazzardi on the near side wall dumps it all the way down the ice, but Schweitzer didn't chase it, and McGuire got to it before the icing line, so McGuire with speed as the Eagles change. McGuire tries to get it out of the zone, but a nice play by McMains to get a stick on it. Turned it over to Pacheco. He'll come in over the line. McGuire does a good job defensively, but the Eagles turning around and forcing that pressure right back. Here's Austin Pick. Pick the other way on left wing. He's in over the line, top of the near circle, takes a shot toward the net. Had Paganini as well that rolled out of play. And then Pick and Glassroot collide. Pick 5'8", 185 out of Troutdale, Oregon. Tanner Glassroot, 6'7", 225 out of Minnesota. So nearly a foot of difference, but that didn't mean that Pick wasn't lying on top of Glassroot.
No, he's a tough player. Pick is a tough player. There's no question.
Rieger backhands it up the middle, looking for McMains, who's been flying all game, picked up by Tisdale. McMains does a good job on the forecheck, has to be careful, doesn't want to get a slashing call. McMains does a good job on Tisdale, forcing the turnover to Beckett. Beckett tried to send it back to the point, it got blocked, instead it went up in the air, and Rieger has to play it out at center. Sterling chasing Rieger down. Sterling does a good job, he takes Rieger out of the play, turns the puck over, flying through the slot was Pick, but Murray had a good job, and he pinned him to the wall with a big hit. Nice hit, clean by Connor Murray, and then the puck, I believe, is under Pick. With 3:03 to go in the second, now things getting a little hitty and chippy.
Yeah, that was a really good job by Murray there, just staying with his man and taking him out of the play.
Good job by our camera crew and our producer to get it up close and personal view there. There's Connor Murray skating away, as is Giovanni Ursillo, the man who was on the puck. So no penalties to anybody, just a face-off deep inside the Eagle zone.
Yeah, and you can see like the last couple shifts, what Franklin Pierce is trying to do is they're trying to take advantage of post pressure in their zone. They're trying to get pucks and throw them beyond the D, and then go track them down and chase them down.
Puck soccer style, kicked ahead by Miner to prevent an Eagle opportunity, sent back into the Eagle zone, but Rieger does a good job with the lob wedge to get it down into the Raven zone, allowing Atkinson to chase after it. Nice pass, though, up the side to Paravalitis. He'll come in over the line, look to center it across the slot. He does, nowhere near anybody. Picked up on the far side, near side by Drew White. White behind the net, but Rieger gets there first. He'll send it up the far side wall. Christensen keeps it in, and then coming free with it is Paravalitis. Gives to Foster. Foster tries to keep it in. He goes outside the blue line, and that'll be offsides. Good job by the Eagles to push Foster as far as he could.
That was a good stick. That was a good stick. But I think it might have been Atkinson. He was up around there. I think it might have been him. Got a good stick on that puck. Just was able to force the Franklin Pierce player to take it outside the blue line.
Good call by you, Coach. That is Atkinson. 2:24 to go in the second. But pressure up on the blue line forced that play as well. There were 3 Eagles up there pushing that play. And they continue to swarm Franklin Pierce defensively. Here's Norling with a chip trying to get around McGuire, but McGuire's the captain. He knows that play. The senior out of Elk Grove, Illinois, didn't allow Norling to get around him. Puck chipped by Branish. Good to see him back on the ice. And this should be an icing, as I don't think Norling is going to win that race with 2 minutes even to go in the second. Stay with us in the second period intermission. We'll go around the NE10. We'll recap the game between the 3 seed St. A's and the 6 seed Southern New Hampshire. A 5-4 win by St. A's after they trailed 4-1 and 3-0 in that hockey game. So they'll play the number 2 seed St. Mike's. But we'll cover all that in the second period intermission, so stick with us. We'll also answer the trivia question: who scored the game-winning goal in the Eagles' lone home playoff game against St. Mike's 4 seasons ago? I'm going to let Coach answer that question too. So put it into the chat in the YouTube. I just said the YouTube. In YouTube, if you can. Fish and Santoro to the left of Cunin, won by Santoro. But Paganini behind the net gets it away from Kennedy. He'll send it in front. He had pick. But a good job defensively by Gazzardi to keep that from being a better opportunity. Then Rieger behind his net tries to get it away to Kennedy, and he does. Here's Aiden Kennedy, who's got a goal in this game. Chips it up to Santoro, trying to find the puck as it bounces. But good job by Swain and Gazzardi to help out. Now Gazzardi, right in front of us, rims it around the wall. Branish, check Gazzardi. Swain now in there forechecking as well on Minor. Puck sent up to Pick. Pick tries to get it out. He does the center, but turns it right over to Kennedy, to Rieger, who will send it right back in behind Connor. Swain forechecks on McGuire. McGuire goes out the far side as Swain went out the near. McGuire looking for a pass. There's a deflection, so no icing. Pacheco will get there first, but then Paganini steals. Paganini tried to come out with it. He got dumped. No call. And here's Glassrud. Glassrud right up the middle to Murray with a minute to go in the second. Murray gets to the blue line, up on left wing, over the line, gives to McBain, who takes a shot, goes wide. Murray found a rebound, sent it through the slot, nobody there, and back comes Levan. Levan for the Ravens, gets to the red line, dumps it in, no icing, as Glassrud gets there first. Glassrud goes D to Pacheco. Pacheco goes high in the air, but gloved down by Tisdale, so he keeps it in the zone. Eagles sent a flyer, that was McMains, as the Eagles look to just rush up the ice with the puck if they can get it. Now McMains spins back into his own zone. McMains tried to center it in front, couldn't do it. Here's Howell. Howell back to the point. O'Connell to Howell with 10. Had it roll off his stick, top of the near circle. Howell tried to center it through the slot, was turned over. One last rush for Franklin Pierce if they can hurry. Blanchette gets to the red line, dumps it in, and that'll be the end of 2 periods here at the Sports Center of Connecticut, where the Eagles turned the tables on the Ravens, trailed 2-0 at the beginning of the period, now have a 3-2 lead on 3 goals in 3 minutes and 57 seconds. Coach, the Eagles pretty much did everything right.
Yeah, that's in that first period, like I said, it just looked to me like the Eagles were just gripping the stick a little too tight. They obviously talked about that between periods. They settled it down, and like I say, the way that they came out in that second period, Franklin Pierce was chasing the entire period. They really didn't have any grade A opportunities. They really were just reacting to absolutely everything that Post could throw at them. If Post continue that type of pressure, it's going to be a long third period as well.
That's the story through 2 periods here at the Sports Center of Connecticut, where the Eagles score 3 goals and have a 3-2 lead. We'll be back in 2 minutes with a look around the NE10. We'll update you on the playoff game that happened up at St. A's, a 5-4 St. A's win during the second period intermission. We'll be back in 2 minutes. You're listening and watching the Post University Hockey on the Post University Sports Network. Second period intermission here at the Sports Center of Connecticut. The Eagles with 3 second period goals, 2 on the power play, have a 3-2 lead over Franklin Pierce, the 4-seed Eagles over the 5-seed Ravens. Second period intermission, and what do? We go around the NE10 as we typically do here on the Post University Sports Network, and that's brought to you by Post University, ranked as one of the top online colleges for 2025 by Newsweek. This month, Post is celebrating 25 years, a quarter century of empowering learners worldwide. So ask yourself, are you a Post person? Reach out today to see what Post can offer you. Online, hybrid, or on-campus options await. For more information on all Post degree programs, to visit campus, take a tour, or to apply, go to post.edu. That's post.edu. Do it today. Eagle fans, you need to get that gear. Weather's starting to get a little bit warmer. Valentine's Day is past. I know my wife's birthday is tomorrow, and it's very important that I get her post-university gear and branded items, because what else would a woman want than post-university gear and branded items? Well, how do I do that? How do I get that special gift for that special someone? I know my wife loves a good Eagles hoodie. You go to posteagles.com, click on the fans tab, then choose school store on the left-hand side, and shop till you drop for all that latest Eagle gear and apparel. Shop today and use that code EXTRA20, EXTRA20, to receive 20% off any order of $75 or more. Exclusions do apply. That's code EXTRA, EXTRA20. It will expire tomorrow, Wednesday, February 25th. That is my wife's birthday, so get ready, honey. You're getting yourself a post-university hoodie as part of your birthday swag from posteagles.com. You can also visit the campus store in the Lever Student Center on campus. They're open Monday through Thursday, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Well, there's one other playoff game, and that game ended earlier today, and that was a incredible comeback by St. A's over Southern New Hampshire. St. A's the 3-seed, Southern New Hampshire the 6-seed, as they won 5-4 in overtime. Southern New Hampshire jumped out to a 3-0 lead on goals by Marchant, Kim, and Slingerland. That's how they headed to the intermission. Connor Kelly gets a goal early in the second period to make it 3-1, but then Jory Veenstra scored to make it 4-1 Southern New Hampshire. And you thought, well, maybe the 6-seed was going to pull that off. Cam Collins scores late in the second period to make it 4-2. And that's how they go to intermission in the second period up at St. A's. But then a goal late in the third period by Keaton Richards made it 4-3. And then Sean Connolly, with 2 minutes to go in the third period, about 2 minutes after they made it 4-3, made it 4-4 and tied the game at 17:51. And then Connolly did it again at 6:56 of overtime from Cam Collins, and the comeback complete for the Hawks as they win 5-4 to 3-seed Hawks. Get by the 6-seed Penmen. They will now take on St. Mike's on Saturday. Time, I believe, still to be determined up at St. Mike's, but that'll be the 2-seed versus the 3-seed up in Vermont on Saturday. Number 1 seed and conference champion Assumption plays the winner of this game up at Assumption on Saturday as well. Don't believe we have a time for that game yet. Let me just double check. Doesn't look like we do, as that game will take place on Saturday as well up in Massachusetts. Assumption and the winner of this game today. Congratulations to Assumption, the regular season conference champions. As wasn't not that it wasn't tough, but they had a decent amount of point lead most of the season, particularly after the month of November, and they did an excellent job capturing the regular season championship this season. So congratulations to them. None of the conference teams have been announced yet. I know we're a little biased here. We think Ben should be NE10 goaltender of the year with his 5 shutouts. We'll see how that plays out. Remember, in the playoffs, St. Mike's is the defending champion. They're the 2-seed this year. They've won 12 championships as well. That's our look around the NE10. A short look because it's really just playoffs at this point, and we don't have the conference player of the year, the conference teams to discuss a little bit further. So that's our look around the NE10 for a playoff Tuesday here on the Post University Sports Network. I'll be back with Coach in 2 minutes. We'll recap an exciting second period for the Eagles and talk about where we go from here. And we'll answer that trivia question as who scored the game-winning goal in Post's only other home game, which was a home victory, Coach's last home game ever 4 years ago. We'll be back in 2 minutes. You're listening and watching the Post University Hockey on the Post University Sports Network. Second period intermission here at the Sports Center of Connecticut in Shelton, Connecticut. The Eagles, with 3 second period goals, have a 3-2 lead over Franklin Pierce. Let's talk about what that period was. Well, Franklin Pierce got an early power play as Owen Rieger took a tripping penalty 23 seconds in, and the Eagles did a good job of killing it off. Not only did they kill it off, but as Rieger came out of the box, he went to the bench. Bradley McMains took a long pass as he was the man who jumped on the ice, and he got taken down, held as he broke in on Jeremy Connor. He actually hit the post as well on his shot, but got taken down. That led to an Eagle power play, and Jacob Howell buried one from Santoro and Kennedy at 3:18, and the Eagles were right back in the game. It's 2-1. Eagles get another power play right after that as they kept the pressure on the Ravens, and 2 minutes and 58 seconds later, Parker Noling on a one-timer set up by Ryan O'Connell and Connor McCall made it 2-2 at 6:16, the second power play goal of the period. Eagles weren't done there as 59 seconds later, Joe Santoro came out from behind the net. A broken stick or a loose stick dropped by one of the Ravens players, which led the lane for Kennedy. Kennedy ripped it from about 30 feet out between the top of the circles and beat Connor high on the glove side, and the Eagles took a 3-2 lead, and that's how the period ended. Scoring-wise, Eagles did have another power play, but were unable to capitalize. Shots on goal in the second period do tell the story, as Coach and I were talking off air. 16 for the Eagles, a two-period total of 31. 8 for Franklin Pierce, a two-period total of 18, so 31-18, the Eagles lead in shots. Face-offs 11-11, Eagles lead 24-19 in the face-offs. Eagles 2 for 4 on the man advantage. Franklin Pierce 0 for 2. Coach, not a lot of bad things in that period. The first minute and a half maybe, where Cunene had to make a swarming save with about 6 players in his crease. But other than that, the last 18 minutes is exactly what you want a hockey team to do, and it was pretty dominant on the Eagles' part.
Yeah, I mean, when you always talk about playing a full 60 minutes, that's kind of out the window because Franklin Pierce won the first period, Post dominating the second period, so it's going to be whoever plays a full 40 minutes is going to come out of this with the win. And right now the keys for Post are going to be to continue to pressure, be it in the defensive zone or in the offensive zone. I think offensively, if they can get between the dots and get pucks to the net, the way they're moving right now, Franklin Pierce is struggling with picking up their assignments, so there's going to be loose pucks that they can track down. Now, on the other piece of that is when Franklin Pierce does get the puck, Post has got to be careful with its defenseman getting caught up in the play, because sometimes when you have success like that, you tend to creep in, and kind of lose where you are on the ice. And you saw that a couple of times, Franklin Pierce trying to get pucks over and behind the D and track and race down those pucks. And they have some very good players on that team who can win some of those races too. So that's what I see. And I'm just looking forward to in 2 minutes and 20 some seconds and change, we get right back at this.
Other thing too, Coach, in the second period, Eagles really did stop the turnover. There's two things that really changed in the second period. Eagles stopped the turnovers, which was a problem in the first period, and Franklin Pierce wasn't blocking any shots. They were dominant in the first period, blocking shots and taking advantage of turnovers. The second period, only one I can think of in the whole second period, and the Eagles didn't turn the puck over at all.
And it was just too much puck move and puck control by the Eagles that they didn't give Franklin Pierce the opportunity. Like I say, in that first period, Post, I feel like it was gripping the stick too tight, just like grabbing pucks and just throwing them, not even really looking to see maybe who was in those shooting lanes to block the pucks, and did a much better job of that in the second period. A little better poise, moving the puck, but also then moving to places where you can get the puck back that do give you opportunities to either get a shot or create a scoring opportunity with another pass.
Teams waiting to take the ice to start the third period. First 5 minutes, as a famous coach once told me, probably the guy standing to my right. First 5 minutes of the third period are going to be key, as with any game. It's a one-goal game, but the first 5 minutes are going to be very, very key for both teams, with the Ravens trailing 3-2. As the teams get ready to take the ice for the start of the third period, we will answer our trivia question. We thank all of those who were able to get in either through the posteagles.com website or through the youtube.com chat. Coach, the winning answer is who scored the game-winning goal in Post's only other home playoff game, the win, 4 years ago, your final home game. And then we'll tell you who our winner is.
Yes, well, easy for me. Just one of the great plays, and one of the guys, you loved all our guys, but you really like this guy, and I know you missed saying his name. Michael Gettings swings a net, picks up a puck. Connor Barter down the slot, gets behind in back of the defender, and just hammers it in the back of the net for what turned out to be the game winner.
Top right shoulder of the goaltender from St. Mike's, Connor Barter, the NE10 version of Brad Marchand, who we also had the opportunity to interview as part of Alumni Weekend a couple of years ago, is the answer to that trivia question. He scored the game-winning goal in the Eagles' 3-1 victory. That was goal number 2. Congratulations to Lorraine Caggiano out of Albuquerque, New Mexico. She is the correct answer to that trivia question. So around the world, maybe she's a student, an online student. Around the world we are here on the Post University Sports Network. Eagles in the home whites going right to left as we start the third period. Franklin Pierce in the maroon and light blue as we will go left to right as we start the third period. Eagles lead 3-2. The final home period of the season for the Eagles here in the playoffs as road games among them.
I'll tell you what, Lorraine gets a hold of us, we'll send her a hat.
She might get a hold of me tomorrow. That's a whole different story. Long shot from the point. Kennedy blocked it in front. And back the other way comes McGuire, and that came right towards our head. That's the first time I've ever had to duck. 34 seconds into the third, and somebody's trying to take us out.
Well, I'm more concerned about the banner.
This is true. We worked very hard to get that banner, and I can't have that thing go down.
I mean,
we'll never get another one.
We'll heal, but we can't take any smudges on that banner.
I'll never get another one if that one goes down. Puck bouncing around now into the Raven zone. Again, this first 5 minutes, very big. Puck sent up the wall looking for the Raven player. In front, opportunity, just missed the net as it was taken into the slot area by the Eagles off a turnover by the Ravens, and back comes Sterling. Sterling comes ahead, gets to the red line, looks to dump it in. That could have been the big moment had the Eagles scored there. Brought back in by Tisdale, but he's checked by 3 Eagles right at the blue line. And puck sent in with Glassford will chase after. Glassford behind his own net, tries to spin off a check of Foster. Using that 6-7 frame, he sends it back to Pacheco. Pacheco comes out the far side with it. He's got a little bit of speed, sends it over here to Pekka. Pekka at the red line, chips it in. Lets Atkinson go in on the forecheck. Comes free is Keenan Howard, who's on the ice, that 19th player. Keenan Howard, freshman out of Waterford, New York. Puck sent all the way down, no icing. Hope spins away from the check of Paravalitis. Up the wall, kept in with a nice little chip by Foster. He'll send it behind the net. That'll allow the Raven offense to go for a line change. 2 minutes into the third. 3-2 Eagles. Here's Howe, who opened the scoring for the Eagles. Long pass for Pekka. That's too far. That should be an icing. And it is, even though I think Pekka might have won the race. As Christensen went to the near side, Pekka went to the far side. But once you get to that dot, they're going to blow that whistle, and that's what happened there.
Yeah, and I know Post is trying to put a final nail or two in here, but have poise with the puck. You don't have to make those kinds of plays unless you're more than 100% sure, if there is such a thing, that you can connect.
Atkinson to the red line, dumps it down around the boards from far to near. McGuire chips it up the walls. The Eagles exchange behind the play. Schweitzer tried to pinch it back in, and now here comes Fish. Fish, this is the dangerous line. Pick, back to Fish. Fish, Paganini, and Pick, the dangerous Raven line. Paganini's got a goal in the game. Fish sends it to the wall. Brandish rimmed it around. Chasing after it is Norling, but Paganini in there to forecheck as well. Norling, gave it up to McGuire. Puck rolls into the slot. McGuire picked it up. Takes a shot toward the net, but Kunin had a lane and made a nice save as that puck was bouncing around. And the Ravens now applying that pressure, 2:37 into the third, and another face-off deep inside the Eagle zone.
Yeah, Ravens making that push that you knew that they would, and Post right now is stemming the tide. So just a question of how long, who can push and who can push back.
Santoro and Sterling on the draw to Ben's right. Won by the Ravens, and then the stick check. They think the Eagles are looking for an offsides. They didn't get it. Instead, it was shot into the netting to the right of Ben Kunin. And I think we're going to redo it in the same spot, and the same two players will take another faceoff. Santoro and Sterling to the right of Kunin. Kennedy gets that face-off. Nice win by Santoro, and Swain finds Gazzardi. Gazzardi with speed, trying to spin around Tisdale. He's in the corner looking for Swain. Swain in there to forecheck, tried to send it back to Kennedy. Instead, the Ravens come back up the other way with a three-man rush. It's Tisdale up over the line. He said he skated sort of into Kennedy, able to get it to Sterling. Sterling came around the net with a rapid. He score. First 5 minutes, Sterling gets a goal, 3:04, and the Ravens have tied it at 3.
Yeah, Franklin Pierce is not done yet. Again, time for Post to push back, get on the D side of the puck.
Nice job as Tisdale actually drew Kennedy to him, although I thought they were getting a little bit too close. Instead, he ended up on Sterling's stick. He wrapped it around the net from far to near, and for Sterling, his 10th goal of the season, his first of the playoffs, and at 3:04, this game is tied. So
yeah, Post has got to possess that puck in the offensive zone and outnumber, and just be patient. Just keep working it around and look for Pierce to get out of position. Right now it's just a horse race. They're going up and down the ice, and like I said, there are players on Franklin Pierce who can skate and who are skilled. You just don't want that.
So again, Sterling, his 10th, first of the playoffs, a junior out of Centerville, Virginia, give the assist to Joshua Tisdale. And the Ravens have tied this game at 3. So, 16 minutes of fun to go, as now this game is tied. Both teams have thrown punches. Franklin Pierce with a couple of haymakers in the first period. The Eagles with a couple of haymakers and an uppercut in the second. And now a nice counter punch by the Ravens have tied this game at 3. Kimball steals it on a bad pass, looks for McMains. McMains down low, punches Christensen into the wall, but the Ravens come away with it. Long cross-ice pass looking for Blanchette. Blanchette had it ripped off the stick, and here's Kimball. Kimball gives it to McMains, closing in with a block, and there's a diving block by Branish before it could get to Connor as the Eagles came back up the ice on a weird deflection that sent McMains flying. Howell leaves it behind his net for Pacheco. 3-3. Pacheco up in the air looking for Howell. Gives it to Peck. A nice pass to Howell. Howell over the line. They're going to say offsides.
That was a late whistle.
Very late whistle. As that did look clean over the line, but a very late whistle, and they have a better view than I do. At least that blue line they do. And a face-off outside the Raven line. Eagles win it. Right down is O'Connell. Makes Connor make a save. Pekka in the forecheck, sends it toward, then another stop by Connor, but couldn't glove it, so the puck free. Being forced up the wall by Foster. Foster, though, getting forechecked hard by the Eagles. Turns it over. Atkinson went backhand to forehand. Now an Eagle stick loose in the slot. Pekka comes away with it. A towel stick. He picked it back up, goes to Hope. Hope, long shot from the point, gets blocked in front. Rebound, chopped at by Howell. Pekka behind the net gets it back. Looking for Hope, it goes through him and all the way down the ice. Atkinson and Howell and Pekka, nice job forechecking. Couple of opportunities, but puck sent down the ice on a clear by the Eagles. Atkinson to O'Connell. Long pass right on the stick of McCall. McCall, nice pass to Norling. Norling couldn't get it to his forehand before it was chopped off, and now here comes Nick Fish. Fish gets to the red line, dumps it in. Rieger there first, sends it right back up the wall and out the center. Paganini, cross-ice dump into that Zamboni door. Kennedy first one after it. Kennedy fakes around Paganini and comes out right up the middle of the ice. Makes a pass on left wing over to Norling. Norling over the line, dumps it in, chases after it. Gets checked off by Madzi. Now in forechecking with three other people. Swings it around the pick on the near side wall. Sends it out the center where Kennedy's at the red line. You can see a lot of Kennedy and Rieger in these final 15 minutes for sure. Kennedy turned it over. Paganini and Fish get it into the line. That was Fish who dumped it in. Norling chasing after Paganini. He'll send it into the corner. There's Kennedy. Paganini goes down. Shot off the bad angle. Kunin got to the post. And now Kennedy will give to Beckett. Beckett high in the air, cross ice, looking for Norling. Norling tried to go around Christensen, but he did a good job on the body. And there's Paganini at the red line. He'll dump it in and go off on a line change. 14 to go in the third. 3-3. Third period goal by John Sterling has tied this game up. Here's Gazzardi. Gazzardi with speed. Cross ice dump. Swain will chase after it. Swain tried to go around Howard. Goes back to the point, long shot, blocked in front by Christensen, and now a three-man rush by Franklin Pierce. But Christensen got to the red line, dumped it in instead of carrying it on. He goes off on a line change. Frankel couldn't get there. Glassrud sends it up the wall with a nice pass to Swain. Here's Swain across the ice to Gazzardi. Gazzardi over the line. He's got Santoro with him. Uses his speed. He goes down. No penalty there. He went down on his own. Swain behind the net with Santoro forechecking. Swain goes into the front because Santoro went down the forecheck. And now a good job by Sterling, who scored the goal to spin away from Santoro. McGuire. Long cross-ice pass onto the body of Ursillo. He had an assist on the opening goal. Ursillo using his speed to try to get around Hope, but O'Connell there to help out. As now you can feel everybody gripping their sticks a little bit more. Shot to Kadeen. He couldn't control it. Went behind the net. Eagles able to get it, stick it out, and here's Kimball. Kimball gets a pop fly feed. Gloved by Murray. Murray with a shot, but blocked in front. Kimball in front to Murray again. Rebounded, bounces on the goal line. The Eagles have their sticks up, but I don't think that went in. That one seemed a little bit less like it went in than the one earlier that the Eagles thought had gone in. And Connor makes a save with 7:05 gone in the third, 3-3.
I'll tell you right now, all credit to Franklin Pierce, because they just seemed like they were struggling in that second period, and they found a way to come out here in this third period, and they're pushing the pace, and they're making this a real horse race.
Fish and Murray on the draw. Squirts free and picked up by Pick. Here's Austin Pick. He'll go chase his own puck, but he sent it in on Quinine, so he'll glove it, and Quinine will get a snow shower for his trouble. Take 9 seconds or so off the clock from the last time I gave it to you. 3-3 still. Face off now inside the Eagle zone. And Murray and Fish will do it again. Fish, the junior, out of Ashland, Massachusetts. Eagles win that draw as Kennedy stepped into the circle to take it. Faked like he was going to go around the net. Instead, just got it out off Kimball's stick. That allowed the Eagle forward unit to change as McMahon still forechecking and sent into the netting. Eagles looking for the face-off deep inside the Raven zone, and it will be. Take another 9 seconds off the clock. It's going to be a long game if we play in 9-second increments.
Yeah, I'd also like to see Post come up the ice together a little bit better, a little tighter formation, not just getting it, throwing it in, and again, having that horse race to try to beat Franklin Pierce to pucks.
Pacheco couldn't control the puck. Paganini brought it in over the line. Good job, though, by Glassrud to help out Pacheco. And puck comes free to center to Atkinson. Atkinson with speed up on right wing over the line, trying to get around Tisdale. An Eagle forward late to the forecheck. That's Pekka. And here's Tisdale with the puck. Gets around Howe, but Pekka does a good job standing at the blue line. He pinches it in. Tisdale comes back to get it. He's done a lot of skating on this shift. Tries to chip it down. You can see he's tired a little bit as he fanned on his pass. But backed up by Howard. Long pop fly pass to a Raven. Instead, Pacheco sent it down the ice, and it'll be icing. And Pacheco frustrated at himself more than anything else with 8:06 gone in the third.
Sure, that's something he want back. Just make a nice flat pass. Give your forward something he can either accept or skate into.
Face off to the right of Ben Cunine. It'll be Howell and Ursillo, a couple of number 9s. Face off won by the Eagles behind the net. Ursillo tried to come out with it, similar to how Sterling scored the goal. Instead, the Eagles able to block that and rim it around to the far side. Glassrud using that 6'7" frame on the 5'8" Sterling. Chipped it up the wall, but the Ravens rather keep it in. Christensen couldn't control the puck. It goes outside the zone. That's offside, so the Ravens will all have to tag up. As the Ravens putting the pressure on, they've tied the game and are now punching back against the Eagles after that 3-goal second period. Glassrud, long pass up the wall, right to the red line. Attempted dump in by McCowell, blocked, turned over. Ravens try to bring it out the other way. This is Sterling. Sterling with some speed goes around Gazzardi, carries in over the line. He's watched by O'Connell. O'Connell forces him to go behind the net. Hope there first, looking for McCowell up the wall. Gets by the oncoming pusher, and here comes Gazzardi with a 3-man rush. Gazzardi over the line, holds, waits, tries to do too much, and McGuire's
got to shoot that puck.
McGuire's a veteran. He's going to stand tall there. That's the case of a freshman on a senior coach, and McGuire isn't going to go anywhere.
No, and you got to shoot that puck, and like I said, create possession, move it around, find those seams, find those little passing lanes, you'll score a goal.
Swain chasing down the puck, so no icing. He turns away with it, spins away with it, comes to the slot on the back end, looking for somebody to center, but everybody was changing behind the play. Only Santoro was with him. Rieger gives it up to Santoro at the blue line. He'll chip it in to the bench. So a face-off just outside the Raven line with 10:28 to go in the third period. 3-3. Buckle up, a final 10 minutes of a 3-3 hockey game.
Well, I'll tell you what, based on what we saw online and this game here, good playoff hockey. Really good playoff hockey.
Teams have played 4 times. Eagles were 1-3 in the regular season against Franklin Pierce, but the Eagles only 5-2-1 stretch to end the season. Ended up with the 4 seed, 22 conference points. Franklin Pierce had 21, and that's why the Eagles are hosting this game on a Tuesday night following a ridiculous blizzard outside. So we thank you for joining us wherever you are on the Post University Sports Network. Give us a like on the youtube.com/Go Post Eagles if you're watching this evening. Puck taken out by White, using his hand to try to get the puck forward, but Kennedy did a good job at the blue line, sends it over on right wing to McMains. McMains gets around. Tisdale's been out for a while, centered it in front, but no Eagle was there for it. Pekka on the half wall, goes behind to McMains, who centered out in front again, but no Eagle was there. The only one there was Paravalitis, and he'll come 1-on-3. He gets around 2 Eagles and then goes off on a line change, but the Eagles, because of the forecheck, not allowing Franklin Pierce to push offensively at that point. Now everybody goes on a line change. But the Paganini, Fish, and Pick line you're going to see a lot of for Franklin Pierce is out right now. Here's Howell. Over the line, gets around the defensive Christensen, looking to center it in front. He took a shot instead, stopped by Connor. And now here comes that line that we're talking about. Christensen, the defenseman, dumps it in, past the stick of Kunin. Glassrud there first. Avoids Pacheco, knocks down Paganini. That allows Pacheco to come out with 9 minutes to go. Pacheco chips it ahead to Pekka. Pekka with speed off the flat-footed defenseman, Fish rather, who was playing defense. Glassrud fakes, holds, shot toward the net, deflects in the slot. Here's Howell with an opportunity. Deflected by Pekka right on. Kept in by Pacheco. Over here for Glassrud. Glassrud holds, waits, steps in. Across to the slot man, looking for Howell, and then taken away. And now back the other way come the Ravens, looking for an offsides as the Eagles are not going to get it. But a good job by Pacheco to chip it right back out the center. That did look offsides, but they didn't get the call. Back the other way comes Franklin Pierce. Over the line with a shot glove by Kunin is Doug McGuire. And the Eagles went from a potential should have been an offsides, or at least looked like offsides, as we now have 2 additional officials here.
And that flurry down there by Post was their best hockey of this period. Again, they just got pucks to the net. They rattle around. They got opportunities. That's what they're going to need to do.
Long shot from the point goes wide. Swain right here in front of us sends it up for a flying Gazzardi. Gazzardi trying to get there, but good job by Branish to beat him to the puck and then turn it over. Now back comes Ursillo. Ursillo up on left wing. He's in over the line. Has a lane. Took the shot. Hope got a stick on it. Swain picked it up in the corner. Swain, quick pass to Santoro. Santoro gets over the line. He gets hit and ran into Gazzardi as he got hit by... Who was that? That was McGuire, who got 2 for 1 as he took out Santoro and Gazzardi. Long pass off the stick of Frankel. He'll chip it in. Hope will race after it. Hope in the near side, far side corner rather, gets checked. O'Connell comes in to help out. Spindles it up the wall to McMains, who will go high in the air and out the center. Both teams jabbing and punching right here. Now a turnover. Here's McMains up on left wing, over the line with speed. He closes it on right wing now. Toward the net, he takes out Connor, and I don't think there's going to be a penalty, but Levan on top of McMains, who came in on left wing and then moved toward the center with an opportunity. And see if Connor is okay. I don't think there's a penalty. I think they're going to say Levan pushed McMains, although McMains, that's where he was going with 7:27 to go in regulation time.
Yeah, Connor looks okay, which is good.
Okay, Connor does look okay, the senior out of Hazlet, New Jersey. And again, for one team, their seniors will have played their last game today. For us, our last home game of the season, Coach and I, we want to thank you again for joining us on all of the Post University networks around the state, around the country, around campus, or around the world. We thank you for joining us. Appreciate everybody spending some of their time listening to us and watching Post University Eagle hockey. Murray wins it clean. Shot taken. Oh! Did it go in? It did not. The fans behind the glass were cheering like it went behind him, but I guess it did not.
Behind him had everything except it didn't cross that little red line.
See if we have a replay of that one, possibly. No replay. Okay.
But our cameraman agrees with you.
Cameraman right there. I guess it got behind. From the angle I have, I couldn't see it get behind him, but the fans behind him were jumping up and down as if it was going in. So somebody needs to talk to those fans. Don't jump up and down until the puck goes in the net.
Well, the red light didn't go on.
Red light did not go on either, but looked like it was. Connor managed to get on it, and that's all that matters. 7 minutes to go in regulation. Kennedy chipped it up to the half wall. Spins, comes out. Sterling tries to come out on the backhand. Excuse me, that's Paganini, rather, on the backhand. Long shot taken and deflected in front as Pick came by right as Kunin was making the save. Kimball pinned on the wall. Murray pushing on McGuire. As again, you're going to see that Paganini fish pick line out a lot, as you will Kennedy and Rieger for the Eagles. 6:45 to go in regulation time. 3-3. Long pass, streaking Kimball. Picks it up near side corner. Spins off to Checa McGuire. Spins it down low to McCall. McCall tries to come out with it. Instead, centers it to Glassroot, who's cruising down the slot. That's not something you see every day. And then the puck sent out of play.
Yeah, got to be able to read that and see your open man is up high, up at the point. He can walk, still look, make a play. That's a tough pass. That's a tough play to make unless you can really see it.
Line change. Officials had some issue with whatever the line change was going on. Either way, face off deep inside the Raven zone to the left of Connor. Norling and Fish on the draw. You're also going to see a lot of Doug McGuire for the Ravens. Not that they're going to play the full 6:30, but they're going to be out there a lot. I wouldn't surprise me if they're out there for at least half of the remaining 6 minutes.
Yeah, you got it. Now both teams got to get your best guys out there.
As I would say the same thing about Rieger and Kennedy.
Yep.
Pacheco at the red line. Beckett sends it in offside, so the Eagles tag up. Norling does. Norling might win that race to McGuire. Instead, Norling comes up with it, leaves it for Beckett. Beckett back to Glassroot. Shot from the point, easily sticked aside by Connor, looking for a deflection or a rebound more so than anything, and then the puck sent out of play into the Raven bench with 5:59 to go in the third. 3-3 here at the Sports Center of Connecticut.
Yep, zone time, possession on the opponent's other side of their blue line. That's what you need right now if you're post. Just smother that puck, swarm. You have to be relentless. You got just under 6 minutes left to get it done.
Pekka and Foster. Pekka wins it clean. Back to Kennedy at center point. Does a good job to avoid two Ravens. Long shot. Deflected right past the right pad of Connor, as that was the kind of shot Kennedy took, looking for a deflection. He found it. Don't know if it was off a Raven or an Eagle. And back the other way comes Foster. Foster high in the air trying to get it down. This could be an icing. They wave off the icing, and they say Drew White won the race to the dot, so no icing. Now 3 Eagles behind the play, 2 Ravens, and Rieger's the one who comes away with it. Rieger, nice pass to Pekka on left wing. Gets to the red line, looks for Atkinson cruising down the slot. Couldn't get it to him. Howell then sends it back, and the Ravens take over and dump it in. White dumps it in, goes off on a line change with 5 to go in regulation. 3-3. O'Connell spindles the net as Sterling watches him. Sterling's the goal scorer here in the third period. Howell across the ice to Hope. Hope gets it to Schweitzer, who touches it. That'll allow for a dump in and no icing. Swain racing in after, spins on Madzi. Swain sends it up the half wall, taken by Sterling. Sterling gives it up ahead to Frankel, who opened the scoring a long time ago. He takes a return pass, holds weight, centers it across to Sterling, and he just couldn't get a stick on it as Kunin came over. Not sure if he got a piece of it, but a great centering pass all the way through, and Sterling had a yawning cage. Not sure again if it went or rolled off a stick or Kunin got a piece. But the Eagles able to get it out and avoid that situation, which would have been ever dangerous. Kunin gloves down a long dump in from center. 4:30 to go in regulation. Santoro looking for the streaky McMains, but stolen by Tisdale, and back the other way comes Ursillo. Over the line with a centering pass into the slot area. It's bouncing. Ben sticks it away. Eagles try to get it out. Kimball races for it. It gets out to center, but back comes Ursillo. Ursillo to Tisdale now. 2-on-1 inside the zone. Tisdale trying to control it. Gets it across. Kunin covers. Can't control. Pacheco plays it up the wall. McMains tries to get it out. Dumped right back in. That was ever dangerous with 4 minutes to go. Hope up the wall to Kimball. He'll just let it go to center, go off on a line change. Here's McGuire right back out, and Paganini, Nick Fish, and Austin Pick out for the Ravens, as we said. Here's Rieger doing a good job spinning away from Paganini. Rieger with speed up the middle, 1-on-4. He turned it over on a chop check, and puck sent back into the Eagle zone where Kennedy will spin away. Kennedy at the Zamboni door. Gives to Norling. Across for Murray. Murray can't control, but he'll chase it down. Murray goes high in the air to center, where it's chopped back in by Levan. Rieger, D to Kennedy. He'll carry it out. Get to the red line. Dump it down around the boards from near to far. That'll allow McCowell to go in after it. Beckett chipping in to come find it as well. Puck sent around the wall to the far side of the ice, where it's chipped up that wall by Blanchette. Blanchette turned it over to the Eagles. McCowell then gives it right back to Howard, who will send it down the ice. This could be an icing, and this one is not because Glassrud beat it. Glassrud gives to McCowell, looks for Pacheco with 3 minutes to go in regulation time, 3-3. Glassrud, long pass to Beckett, who's going off on a line change, but he sticked it, so no icing rather. Pekka into forecheck. Mateo Pekka forces the Ravens to pass it around. Kennedy keeps it in with a pretty play. Kennedy closes it in with a shot. Toward the net, deflected just wide as Howell stepped in front of it, but a pretty play by Aiden Kennedy. Puck in the far side corner. Atkinson forechecking. Good job by Brandish to spin away with it. Excuse me, that was Sterling rather. Puck sent back out to center as both teams have having opportunities. Here's Kennedy, Rieger. Rieger closes in. Pass on right wing to Howe looking for Atkinson. He had him, but he couldn't control the puck. And then it's sent out to center where Rieger will dump it right back in. Rieger off on a line change. 2 minutes to go in regulation time. 3-3 here at the Sports Center of Connecticut. Here comes Tisdale. Tisdale tries to get it to center. He does to Frankel. Frankel dumps it in. O'Connell will go in on a line change. Howell is down, trying to get off. His stick is in the middle of the ice. Here's O'Connell. He avoids that stick. Gives it on right wing to Gazzardi. He's on the correct side of the red line, so no icing. Gazzardi chases in after it. Tisdale tries to spindle it up the near side. Instead, it gets centered out in front for Santoro, who couldn't find it, and then chipped out the center to Paganini. Paganini fish and pick again right back out there. O'Connell goes behind the net to Hope. Hope looks back for O'Connell, but O'Connell was going up the ice. That allows Fish to get in there and forecheck a little bit. Swain pinches in, gets it out to center. That's the most important thing. And now he'll carry it out to center. Scotty Swain over the line, carrying it in, goes to the backhand and just missed the net wide. He'll pick it up in the far side corner, gives to Santoro. Santoro looks for Kennedy and Rieger, who might play these last 67 seconds as defense. Puck sent high in the air all the way down the ice. It's not going to be an icing, but that'll allow Rieger to play with a minute to go in regulation time. 3-3. As we might see overtime, but let's see. Here's Kennedy. Up on right wing, he's in over the line. He cuts to the middle, looking for a lane to shoot. He can't find it. It's chopped off his stick, and now here comes Franklin Pierce the other way. It's Drew White. Gets to the red line himself. He'll send it in behind Kunin. That'll allow Rieger to play as it popped out in front. As Rieger and Kennedy kind of looked at each other. Nobody played it. Now it's back to the point to McGuire. McGuire on a backhand glove by Kunin. With 33-3, that's an interesting clock.
33-3 up there.
33-3 to go in the third is 3-3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 threes on that board right now. But the Eagles turning it over is probably the bigger story instead of the clock. Forcing a face-off deep inside the Eagles zone. Surprised neither team is taking a timeout. As Howell and Sterling go on the draw.
Yeah, neither team has used it.
Pekka does a good job to take the puck off the faceoff, and here's Atkinson. Atkinson trying to get around Brandish, pushing toward the net. He looked to center, but instead Brandish did a good job of pushing him into the far side corner. Pekka in there forecheck as well with 20 remaining in regulation time. McGuire just watching. Pekka and the three Ravens. Now Howell in there forechecking as Atkinson steps away with 10. Ravens, I think, are just content to pinning it on the wall. Eagles trying to do something here. Frankel tried to get the puck on the wall, fighting for it as Pekka. That's going to end regulation time here at the Sports Center of Connecticut. Well, what do you know? Franklin Pierce tied the game in the first 5 minutes.
Any flavor you want. Playoff hockey. We're going overtime.
3:04 the time. It was Sterling from Joshua Tisdale. And this is the real overtime, folks. We're not going to play it right now. We're going to bring out the Zamboni, and we're going to scrape the ice. So, it's a first for us here at the Sports Center of Connecticut. I think it's a first for the Zamboni crew as well, as I don't think they were necessarily prepared for that. So,
no, somebody is frantically on the radio right now trying to find them.
And somebody's probably upset that their adult league game won't start till midnight tonight, but Larry Erickson.
Yes.
But the fans sticking by us as we go to overtime. 3-3 here at the Sports Center of Connecticut. Coach and I will be back in 2 minutes because we've never had an overtime intermission before, so we'll figure out what we're going to do. In 2 minutes, you're listening and watching the Post University Hockey on the Post University Sports Network. Overtime intermission brought to you by Coach and I, because we've never actually had one of these. As the only goal of the third period scored by John Sterling on a wraparound. He went from the far side to the near side here in front of us at the Sports Center of Connecticut. For Sterling, that's his 10th goal of the season. First in the playoffs. Give the assist to Joshua Tisdale. That occurred at 3:04 of the third period. Otherwise, teams played up and down. Both goalies making some saves. Shots on goal in the third for the Eagles, 11. A three-period total of 42. For Franklin Pierce, 10. A three-period total of 28. Faceoffs, 11-7 for the Eagles. 35-26 in the hockey game. Eagles 2 for 4 on the power play. Ravens 0 for 2 on the power play. Coach, you have been... you're definitely the experienced one here between the two of us about overtime hockey, as the last Eagle playoff victory, your last win, came in overtime. Jake Raleigh, I believe, correct?
Jake Raleigh.
Talk to me about what the discussions are going on in over. Is there much to say at this point? Is it a quiet locker room, or coaches, there might be something specific to talk about, but is there a lot being said right now?
You're going to be brief. You're going to reinforce a couple of things, put it in their heads that the team that attacks in overtime typically is victorious, and then essentially let the boys figure it out for themselves. Let your team take it from there. We've done a great job. We're here. We belong being here. This is your game if you want to take it. This really does come down to whoever's going to grind it out and go after it and take it is going to be the winner. You just have to decide if that's you.
It's 5-on-5 in overtime here in the NE10 conference playoffs, so no complaining about 3-on-3. It's going to be 5-on-5, so this game, in theory, could go a while. Could also, I've seen plenty of overtime games finished in the first minute. Ivan Korovo comes to mind, 24 seconds from Castles, Game 6 of the 92 playoffs. But this game could also go 4 overtimes like Keith Primo for the Flyers against the Penguins. So there are a lot of different options and a lot of things in between.
That's true. And Ike is actually doing a great job as the skills guy over in Newington for the Connecticut Chiefs hockey program.
Yes. One of those guys who stuck around, which he wasn't one of those guys you think would, but he has, and done a good job. Either way, it's going to be overtime hockey here within the NE10. We thank you for joining us wherever you are. It's been a very exciting hockey game. Again, the Ravens jumped out to a quick 2-0 lead, and you were worried as an Eagle fan because they hadn't come back from a 2-goal deficit the entire season. But 3 quick goals in the second period within a 3-minute, 57-second span, 2 on the power play. And the Eagles have a 3-2 lead going to the third. But again, as we discussed, John Sterling able to find a puck, wrap it around the net, getting it past between the legs, rather, of Ben Kunin as he went from the far side of the ice to the near side of the ice around that net. Tied the game. Both teams had opportunities. Ben had to make a couple saves. Jeremy Connor had to make a couple saves. Eagles crashed the net a few times. No penalties. Good job by the officials really not calling anything in the third period, letting the players kind of play it out. Obviously, you're going to call something obvious, but really letting the teams play.
Yeah, I thought they did a really good job doing that. Those are some veteran officials. I remember those guys from back in the day, and they just do a really good job. And we've got a smaller crowd here, but a very vocal crowd. And I will say, moving forward in the future, even if you're not really a hockey fan, but you like music from the late 70s, 80s, and 90s, bundle up and come here because the playlist is fantastic.
Yeah, Tuesday night hockey, always good, but remember the Eagles play a lot of Friday and Saturday games as well here at the Sports Center of Connecticut. Come on down if you have young kids. If you're a student, definitely need to get yourself down here, but if you have young kids and you're a parent, free hockey, come on out, watch, get some stuff at the snack bar. That's really your only expense is letting your kid eat something greasy from the snack bar. So highly recommend you coming down and catching post-university hockey as time moves on. Post-university sports scene, ever busy. We covered a lot of it in the first period, but as we transition out of winter sports into spring sports, again, this will be Coach and I's final broadcast of the hockey season, as the Eagles can only play road games going forward with Southern New Hampshire's loss 5-4 this afternoon. So Coach and I want to thank everybody who listens. Again, give us a like on youtube.com if you can, if you're listening to us and enjoying what you have heard all season. I don't ask for much. A like every once in a while will do me proud. And I appreciate everybody who's reached out to us on the variety of different sites throughout the year, asking questions or wanting to know things. Again, we appreciate all of it and hope you come back with us next season as well. But we're not done here yet, as it's 3-3, ice being surfaced for a 5-on-5 overtime, which will start in a few minutes. Coach and I will take a 2-minute break and come back and get you set up for the start of overtime. You're listening and watching the Post-University Hockey, getting ready for overtime playoff hockey here on the Post-University Sports Network. We'll be back in 2 minutes. You're listening and watching the Post-University Hockey on the Post-University Sports Network. third period intermission here at the Sports Center of the Connecticut. Jeff Nelson, the coach, Pete Whitney here with you as we get ready for overtime here at the Sports Center of Connecticut on a Tuesday night. Eagles all-time in the playoffs, Coach. They're 1-0 in overtime.
That's a fun fact.
Coach's last win as coach was that overtime victory, 4-3 if I remember correctly.
It was 4-3. Jake Raleigh was on the ice with Trey DeLaurie and Nico Grolman and Tommy Bice.
Speaking of Trey DeLaurie, I noticed he signed in the SPHL.
He did. He got
in Roanoke, right?
He got a call up. Yep. With I think it's Rail Dogs. I think it might be.
They are the Rail Dogs. Yes, the Roanoke Rail Dogs.
Yep. And he's doing great there. We still stay in touch. We had good conversations, and fortunate to have a really good group of alumni that still stay in touch, and I truly appreciate that.
Yes, he was playing in the Federal League. Has now stepped up to the SPHL. So step up. 6'5". He's I think I was looking. He's the largest guy on the team by a couple of inches.
And he's playing well. He's playing smart. Plays within himself. Which at the pro level you really start to get a defined role. And if you play that role well, you're going to stick around. Yeah,
that's a southern market that Roanoke has been very good to the SPHL. Knoxville is the premier market in that league, and as somebody who used to work in the UHL when Knoxville had a team, I can tell you there are some good cities in that league. You got to draw, you'd be surprised, and Coach knows this as well, but for those of you at home, the South has really good hockey markets. They're not going to draw 15,000 a night, but they'll get you a solid 3 in those smaller buildings. And so congratulations to Trey DeLaurie. That's the long story to a short question, is Trey DeLaurie playing in the SPHL. So some successful post-university players making their way and moving their way up.
Yeah, I think it's such a unique sport, and it's even, I think, in some ways more unique to the South because obviously because of the geographics, most of your sports are played outside.
Yep.
So having what hockey does bring as a sport, and then the uniqueness of the surface they play on, I think it makes it very interesting for folks who are living the better weather than we are.
Yeah, I can tell you my experiences in Knoxville. That arena is like 75 years old, and they have a lot of rodeos in there. But they do play hockey, a lot of wrestling back in the day as well. But they like to have those buildings filled. All these little towns in the South have buildings that they want to have filled, and you can get 40 games a year out of 35, 40 games a year in hockey. Get some decent crowds, they'll do it. So, again, congratulations to Trey DeLaurie. Hopefully he'll continue to crawl his way up as we kill for time here as we get ready for the overtime. First for us here at home, and playoff overtime as we wait now. The team's getting ready to take the ice for the start of overtime. It will be 5-on-5 for overtime. Again, thank you to everybody who has joined us this season. Thank you to Mike Vesey, Kristen Brown, and the entire post-university staff. If it wasn't for them, Coach and I wouldn't look as good as we do. Everybody from so many people who help us out throughout the year and really help out in all the sports. There are a lot of interns as well. If you're interested, if you're somebody in college looking to learn the broadcasting game, reach out to Mike Vesey and Post University's athletic department for more information on what you can do to help out. Or go to Post University, apply, and get in. A variety of different stages to go as the teams take the ice for overtime. Should be interesting here.
Yeah, this is going to be great. Like I said, playoff hockey is it's exciting, and the NE10 is good hockey for sure. And anybody's got a game, right? St. A's was 4-1. They were down. They come back. They win it in overtime.
Both
Post
teams
was up 2-0. It's tied now. It's anybody's game. And like I said, I want to see Post attack. Our goaltenders to our right. It'd be great to have a good look at the winning goal.
Eagles going left to right in the home whites for the start of overtime. Franklin Pierce in the maroon and blue and white going right to left as you look at your screen and dial. Ben Cunin in the net for the Eagles. Jeremy Connor in the net for Franklin Pierce. Face-off one. Quick shot blocked in front. Again, this could be quick or it could be long. or it could be in between. I know I've just covered all the scenarios, but it could be a variety of different things that the Eagles struggle to get the puck out. Kennedy chipped it up the wall. It still is in and finally taken out. Swain tried to give a quick pass to Gazzardi. It goes back to Rieger. Kennedy. Kennedy gives to Swain up on left wing. Carries it in over the line around McGuire. Swain looking for an angle. He takes the first shot of overtime. Stopped by Connor 30 seconds in. First goal wins it. 5-on-5 overtime. 20 minutes sudden death. Long shot taken in. Goes by Connor. Forechecking in is Atkinson. Puck rimmed around all the way down to Paganini. Paganini's got a goal in the game. Taken down by Delore. You're going to have to use your skate as a weapon probably to get a penalty in overtime at this point. The referees have done a good job. Tisdale inside his own zone. Stick check by Atkinson. Pekka tried to pick it up at the red line. Chipped off his stick by Frankel, who opened the scoring a long time ago. Frankel picks it up, takes a shot that gets blocked as he tried to spin with it from the near side. Tisdale, long shot from the point, deflected wide. Doesn't get to Ben at all. Here's Pekka. Pekka goes up the ice looking for Atkinson. He said he flared it in the air. Tisdale will play it back to the defense of Glassford. Both of them were tall. Madsey tried to play it up the wall off of Howell. Glassford steps into it. The Eagle captain sends it to Tisdale. Good job on McMains to keep it in momentarily, and that'll allow everybody else to change with the puck inside the Raven zone and a minute 30 gone in overtime. Long pass chipped ahead into the middle of the ice to Ursillo. Closing in, and Kunin with a glove save, and three Raven players have their hands over their head in disbelief as Ben Kunin robbed Giovanni Ursillo. Minute 36 in overtime. That keeps this game 3-3 here as Ben Kunin, the opinion of us, the NE10 goaltender of the year, robs him.
Yeah, Post has got to keep its head on a swivel. Again, hard but easy. Count five when you're a D-man. Make sure there's five players, even strength, in front of you.
Rieger chipped it up the wall to Swain. Santoro, this line right back out. Santoro gets before the red line, looks for Gazzardi. He found him. Gazzardi spins away, comes back to the point to Rieger. Rieger over to Kennedy. Kennedy toward the net, and a save by Connor. Deep in his crease, but he swallowed it whole, and that'll lead to a face-off to the right of Jeremy Connor. A minute 54 into overtime.
Yeah, well-conceived play. Nice. Joe Santoro took a little touch there, a little bit off the pass to let it settle over to Gazzardi. Good puck movement, just maybe a little bit more traffic in front, make it tougher for that goalie to locate the puck.
These 10 players are going to be on the ice for most of this overtime. It's Santoro, Gazzardi, Swain, Rieger, Kennedy, and then the pick line for the Ravens with McGuire and Branish. These are going to be the 10 players you're going to hear the most of. Swain, fan on his shot from left point, though he kept it in, and it'll rim it around the wall. Gazzardi checks Macau on the ice for Santoro, playing it right in front of us here in the broadcast center on the half wall. Two Ravens checking at it. Swain tries to come away with it. He still has the puck. Nice job to Kennedy. Kennedy holds, waits, shoots. He scored! He scored! And Kennedy on a wrist shot from the top of the far circle wins it in overtime at 2:24. And the Eagles are soaring high, flying above the trees, and they defeat the Ravens here in overtime 4-3 on Kennedy's second of the game. Fifth of the season, his team leading 19th point, and the Eagles find a way to win this game 4-3 in overtime, Coach.
Yeah, again, the speed of Scotty Swain is always evident, it's always obvious, but his ability there to stay with that puck, again, a little bit of poise, not just throw it. Saw him pick his head up, saw him locate Aiden, and Aiden made no mistake.
A wrist shot from the top of the far circle, probably a couple of feet beyond that. After Scotty Swain, first of all, credit to Connor McCowell right in front of us, fought off two Franklin Pierce Ravens on the forecheck. That puck squirted free. Scotty Swain chased it all the way through the slot, got it over to Kennedy, who took a wrist shot from, again, about 40 feet out and beat Connor blocker side high at 2:24, and the Eagles win their third playoff game in history, their second playoff game at home in history. They're 2-0 all time at home, and the Eagles have won this game, and they'll get Assumption, the number one seed, on Saturday. Time to be determined. So the top four seeds all advance, although 1 and 2 had a bye. But the 3 seed wins in overtime and the 4 seed wins in overtime. The first playoff win for head coach Tim Richter, the first playoff win in 4 seasons for the Eagles. They're now 2-0 all-time at home. Coach, an excellent job by the Eagles. Again, 6-2-1 now in their last 9 as they continue to improve on the season. But Aiden Kennedy's wrist shot wins the game. Full marks to everybody on the team, but not shocking that those 5 players, Santoro, Gazzardi, Swain, although McCall will get the second assist, on the ice with Rieger and Kennedy for pretty much the full 224 of this overtime. Coach, the 3 stars is chosen by you up here in the broadcast booth in an exciting 4-3 victory for the Eagles here this evening at the Sports Center.
Yeah, my first star, which I think is pretty obvious with the
3 points,
with the goals and his assists, is Aiden Kennedy. So he's my first star. My second star is, and since I get the pick, I get to do this.
That's right.
I got a tie for my second star because, again, I think both of these players, just the way that they have been playing the last few games, right? First one is Joe Santoro, 2 assists today, but more importantly, Joe has matured as a player, especially over the last several games, and it's been a pleasure to watch him lead, be a quiet leader, and then again with like just such fun to watch, just such a water bug, if you will, and poise, using his speed, but taking the time to move a puck is Scotty Swain, and then just honestly, just based on the fact that in overtime, the game-winning goal was on number 9 stick, and Ben Kinnead made that save, so he's my third star.
Hoping to have the number 1 star and the number 3 star come to see us up here. That would be Aiden Kennedy and Ben Kunin after the 4-3 overtime victory here for the seniors, their final home game as well, as they will travel to Assumption on Saturday to play in the semifinals. Again, the Eagles' 3rd win all-time in the playoffs in NE10 history. There's 2-0 all-time at home, so that tells you one thing. The Eagles have to get more home playoff games so they can win potentially more games in the playoffs.
Yeah, undefeated at home. There you go.
Game-winning goal is Aiden Kennedy's, his 5th of the season, his 19th point, team-leading 19th point from Scotty Swain, his 10th point of the season. And Connor McCall, by the way, 2 assists in the game for Connor McCall as well. And 2 of the quieter second assists as you can have, but the Eagles get them anyway and win the game in overtime. Shots on goal in the overtime. For the Eagles, 2, game total of 44. For Franklin Pierce, the one that Giovanni Ursello will see in his nightmares on his 4-hour bus trip back to Franklin Pierce, 1, game total of 29.
Yeah, I mean, this, again, broken record, but just such these first 2 games, if these are any indication of what the playoffs will be moving forward, everybody should get out and see these games because come from behind, bend but don't break, tie games, win both overtime victories, just great hockey.
Eagle goal scorers today, Jacob Powell is 7th, Parker Norling his 6th, Aiden Kennedy his 4th and 5th, with the winner being in overtime. As Coach mentioned, Joe Santoro 2 assists, Scotty Swain an assist, Connor McCall 2 assists. I think that pretty much covers it. John Sterling, a goal and an assist for Franklin Pierce this evening rather. But 224 in. Not even, sometimes you just put shots on the net. Again, great wrist shot by Kennedy. Wasn't anything special, mind you, but it was a wrist shot from about 40 feet out, probably through a screen of players that just beat goaltender Connor high on the blocker side, and that was the winner.
Yeah, and there was a lot of traffic in front, Pierce players as well. So when you have all that going on, and again, it was to me, the difference was the quickness. Like Scotty got it settled down, but then he zipped it right across. Aiden didn't really hesitate, got a hold of it, snapped off a wrist shot. Just at kind of at that perfect height where it's really hard to track that puck because it's coming through arms, elbows, sticks, gloves. It's really tough to track that puck.
Also, again, as we mentioned a minute ago, Connor McCall right in front of us, which was really easy to see, 1-on-2 in the forecheck, fighting for that puck. That's what squirted free. And Swain chased that puck all the way until he finally got control of it. That's when he sent it to Kennedy for the wrist shot. And again, beat Connor. So we're waiting on Aiden Kennedy and Ben Cunine, hopefully, as Ben kind of earned his way up here with the glove save right before there.
Yeah, and that's, again, you watch a team, and we always use the expression, bend but don't break. And that's what you saw tonight, right? You saw a post with a lead disappeared, the opponent went up, they were just poised, they found a way to tie it, and then, like I said, in overtime, move it, pass it, shoot it, and that was the difference maker.
So let's talk next steps, Coach. What's the next 4 days like? Obviously, kids got to go to class and do normal life stuff, but you got 4 days, so you're making that trip to Assumption for the semifinals. What are you doing over these next 4 days?
Well, for one thing, as I remember, the adrenaline doesn't stop.
Okay.
You know, sometimes you have that game, and when you get home, like the adrenaline kind of flows out of you, and you kind of feel a little bit of that fatigue. But I guarantee you, the adrenaline won't stop until they get on the ice with Assumption and start playing the game, and keep it pumping that way too. But now it's just a matter of now it's house money, right? So you're enjoying yourself. You're talking about how right now there's only 4 teams in the league that are still playing. So in that sense, there's a win for you. Now you got the table set in front of you, and we're gonna look at video. We're gonna talk about the things that we do well, and we're gonna play our game, and we're gonna force our opponent, who is good, there's no question, but we're gonna force them to have to be good in order to beat you. And that's what you want as a team, and your opponent wants that too, because everybody wants to feel like when they go out and they play, it's like the championship fight. You know, if it's 12 rounds, I want to go 12 rounds.
Let's talk a little bit. Let's preview a little bit of what's to come while we await Aiden and Ben. Eagles played Assumption early this year, a home and home, lost 4-0 at Assumption, then lost 3-1 here. That was in early November. Then they came back after the winter break and lost to Assumption 6-5 in overtime. That I remember well. And then lost 8-3 up at Assumption at the end of January. So Eagles 0-3-1 against Assumption this season, and probably don't have a good taste in their mouth off the 8-3 loss at the end of January.
You know, but again, if you looked at it right when they came into this one, Pierce had the advantage of 3-1. Didn't matter. It's one game at a time now, and you get a chance to, if you want to call it fix, to outcompete. You get a chance to form and have your own destiny as a group. So you can decide to win. I'm a big believer in the room and guys coming together, and this looks like a team to me that has found a way in the last many games here, found a way to come together. Because again, this was a team that was, first off, they were only winning games when their goaltender had a shutout. They overcame that hump. Then they were a team that barely scores 2 goals. They overcame that. So they are poised, positioned to continue to do well in the playoffs. Again, you got to play the game, but just looking at it right now, they're in a good spot.
One thing to add, after the 8-3 loss to Assumption on January 23rd, from that point forward, the Eagles are 6-2-1. So that was, and if you go back to look at the interviews that we have done with these players during the home wins, you'll notice there was a turning point after that game. I think the team was a little embarrassed. It's the first time they'd really given up a bunch of goals in a game during the whole season. I mean, there were a couple of 4-goal games in there, and there was a 6-5 loss that they were uber competitive in. But when you really look at the Eagles' schedule top to bottom, that's really the one game where they just weren't competitive at all. They were never in it, and it was an 8-3 loss. And it seems from that point forward, leadership, coaching, whatever it was, turned the switch on. And they've played significantly better hockey since then, and again, 6-2-1, including 1-0 in the NE10 playoffs with the win today.
Yeah, I really think once you get to a certain point in the season, and maybe it's the last 10, 8 games, I feel like it's somewhere around there. As a coach, I mean, you can only do so much. You know, at that point, it has to be what your team has decided to do. And this is a group of young men. They have decided to go out and find a way to win games. That's clear. That's obvious. So again, it's kudos to that group. It's kudos to the room. You had, again, we saw the bad penalties, the retaliations, the kind of what are you doing kind of thing. Now that just disappeared.
None of that tonight.
And that comes from in the room. That's each player holding each other accountable and having that frank discussion of, hey, we're not doing that. And this is what you get when you don't do that.
Kudos all around again to all the players on the Eagles. Again, this is a team victory as well. Everybody chipping in across the board. And again, you can go back and watch some of the interviews that we've done with some of the players after the game. You can hear the same tone. And it's a different tone even from the beginning of the season for some of the wins that the Eagles have had. But again, the Eagles struggling out of the gate early on, 3-14 to start the season, and again, have finished off 6-2-1 now. And now get their opportunity at the 1 seed Assumption, who they are 0-3-1 against, but play them well here. Know that game's going to be up there, but the Eagles can find a way. If Ben plays well, and this team continues to Assumption hasn't seen this team, not this team.
No, that's the other piece too. You're 100% correct there. This again, like the last 8-10 games, this is a very different team.
And we continue to vamp while we wait for our number 1 and number 3 star to come on up here.
I can see him.
I can see one of them. But I think he's been attacked by a relative.
Yeah.
Or a girlfriend or somebody. And we know in life that we are far less important than that.
Oh, yeah. I've come to grips with that a long time ago.
While we're waiting, again, another friendly reminder to thank you for joining us. If you enjoyed the broadcast this season, please like us on youtube.com/GoPostEagles. Coach and I, this is the final broadcast for us this season, as the Eagles will play on the road, and so the Assumption broadcasters will have Saturday's game, and if the Eagles can get by there, whoever wins between St. Mike's and St. A's will have the broadcast of the championship game. That's a week from Saturday, so Eagles playing on Saturday the 27th, 28th. 28th.
Yeah, too, Jeff, and I just want to say, too, I think it'd be remiss can't overlook the great job that Connor Foley has done at Franklin Pierce in his first year.
Absolutely, yes.
I mean, I remember him as a player, tough guy to play against. Again, obviously a tough guy to coach against, too. He has just done a wonderful job with this program, and they are headed in that right direction. And as bitter as this is, and it stings, which I know it does, because I've been there too, there are better days ahead, and he's the right guy for the job.
He took over interesting circumstances. We still don't really know why Ken Jernander left, but he did. But he did leave him with a lot of freshmen and sophomores who make the bulk of this team. Again, credit to Doug McGuire as well, the senior captain who played his last game today as a collegiate. But overall, the team itself is very young. Again, they went from 2-3 wins last season to 9 this season. one of the things they probably have to figure out is what sort of went wrong in the second half of the season with the goals against. But once you can figure that out, I don't know if it was goaltending or defense or something else. I mean, to be fair, the 3 games they played here, they were all close and competitive, and there weren't any 11-1 games in there. It was 1-0, 3-1, and 4-3, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, and again, kind of that Jekyll and Hyde that you get honestly are the growing pain that you get when you're in your infancy, if you will. And it's fair to say that, not in a derogatory way, but in a positive way, is when you've only won 2 games a year before, there are so many things from personnel to team culture to recruiting, all those pieces that are really tough nuts to crack when you're a coach and you're trying to recruit, bring guys in, get them to play for you, getting the guys that are there, getting out of that mindset about the difficulty they have winning. And again, he's done a great job with that, as he and his staff, and they are to be commended for what they've been able to do this year.
As we await our players, probably celebrating a little bit. We didn't talk about either the fact that Connor Foley was also the name of the linesman tonight.
Yeah, I think the other thing we do, I think we give him like 5 more minutes, so we put one of these guys in front of the camera.
And we'll interview them.
Yeah, we'll interview them.
What's your life like at Post University?
See what they think. They're watching all the games.
Hey, they can become experts at this point. As the music blasting from the post-university locker room. Hi, everybody. How you doing? Oh, okay. No, that's okay. Let's wait for somebody to climb up here.
Yeah, I see Ben, but he still has
his leg pads on.
That's not going to work on the ladder. No, we don't have an elevator here, so.
No, we do not.
Maybe we go with that. Maybe we never mind the stairs. Let's get an elevator.
If the post-university athletic department would like to invest in an elevator, I'd first say it's probably a poor choice of investment, but probably other things they can invest in. I'd like lights at Municipal Stadium I could see for football season.
Elevate your game and your experience at Post. There we go.
I'll just take lights. Give me lights I can see at the maybe get a night game in there.
Well, they've all disappeared now.
Yeah, several of them have hugged their family members, and now they've gone back in. So,
yeah, I'm pretty sure they're going to shut the lights off pretty soon.
I'm surprised there's not an 11:30 men's game getting ready to get set up here.
Yeah.
I played in those games, to be fair. So,
yeah, there you go. So let me ask you this: so we talked about Assumption and Post. If you're St. Michael's and St. Anselm's, what's going through your head at that point too, right? St. Michael's up to this point, I think, has had the upper hand this season for St. Anselm's, but St. Anselm's has shown the ability to be resilient, especially the last few games, right? Post was able to win pretty handily here 5-2, but then they were able to turn around at home and win 2-1, and then be down 4-1 and come back, right? And essentially four unanswered goals and win in overtime. And so just looking at that piece of things, I think this thing is wide open. I think the playoffs are still pretty much wide open. I know that the Assumption for sure, taking nothing away from them. Coach Looney's done a great job over there with, again, leading the way with victories, and a team that has an incredibly potent attack that can put up 5, 6, or more goals on any given night.
should be fun. So definitely stay with the Flow Sports and the network for Northeast 10 hockey, as those playoff games, the semifinals, will take place on Saturday up at Assumption and up at St. Mike's. And then the championship game a week from Saturday to be determined. It'll be somewhere. Either it can be at St. A's, it could be at St. Mike's, or it could be at Assumption. It really depends on what the semifinals look like. Won't be here. That's the one thing we know for sure.
Yeah, and those games, we'll be able to watch those on Flow Sports.
That's correct. Flow Sports. As we await Coming out in the suit, ladies and gentlemen. All right.
Sorry, guys.
That's okay. Congrats.
Thank you.
Oh, hold on. Let me get my thing off, too. I don't want to wear this on here. I look ridiculous. Yeah. We're on 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. First start of the game with obvious decision, Aiden Kennedy. You were just up here a couple days ago, weren't you?
I know.
So talk to me about this game today. And a heavyweight fight, if we've ever seen one. They're up 2-0. You're up 3-2. They tie it. You win it in overtime. Talk to me about the first goal in the second period. You had the second goal of the game, if I remember, on the power play. You guys were trailing at the time, but you guys got it back with that goal. Talk to me about that one first.
Yeah, I think Joe made a great play down low. He kind of curled around the half wall, and I don't know. I just saw a good amount of ice open. I just kind of filled that lane. He made a great pass, and I kind of just got the pass, caught it, and released it. I don't think the goalie saw it. I shot a little blocker, and yeah, I know. Not the best celebration on that goal, but
I noticed you crashed into the wall.
Yeah, I might have broke like the glass up there, but I don't know. But no, it was a great play by Joe. Good traffic in front. I'm not sure if it was Howie or Baxter in front or Rieger, but no, it's just we knew we were down 2, and it was the first period. There's a lot of time left. We knew we were dominating them for most of the game. We just had to get just bury our chances, and I think our group did a great job today, just hounding in on them, and yeah, just never. There's going to be adversity, and just keep going, and we'll bury. So,
I think when you guys watch, and give me your angle on this in a minute. When you guys watch the overtime winner, what we saw, because it was all right here in front of us, is McCall working on the wall against 2 Franklin Pierce forecheckers, trying to get the puck away from him. Swain chasing the puck all the way across the ice, finally getting it to you, and then you wristing it past Connor for the winner. What did you see on that one, first of all, with that shot?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that was a crazy moment. I kind of blanked out on it, to be honest, but no, they were saying MC made a great play, McCall down low, beating out like 2 of their guys, and we knew that was one of their weak spots on their team, is they don't want to defend, so just getting on our forecheck quick, getting pucks deep, and beating them out. And MC made a great play, and then Scott, ever since he came back from injury, he's just been a great addition to our lineup and helping us turn to the second half around, and made a great play up to me. And, yeah, it wouldn't have happened without that Benny save on the breakaway either. So
yeah, we haven't even gotten to that one yet.
We're
going to get him up here, hopefully, to cover that in a minute. But
yeah,
phenomenal save.
Yeah, like going back to your the play, it was just great effort by those 2. And I just had a lane, and I don't think he was expecting me to shoot it, especially at that angle on the wall, and I just wristed it over his top shoulder. And, yeah, I was even surprised it went in, to be honest. And, yeah, that's kind of blanked out in the moment, but it was great. It was great for our group.
Is that the first overtime game winner for you?
In college, yes.
Okay.
But yeah, that was probably a top moment for me. Especially for this group. Our group deserves it. We've been working our butts off the second half, and yeah, job's not finished. 1 down, 2 to go. Whoever we play next, I'm not sure, but
Assumption.
We'll be ready.
So talk to me about now what you do in the next 3 days. So you're going to play Saturday. You're going to be at Assumption. You're 0-3-1 against them this year. Coach and I were talking before you came up. Last game you played against them was the 8-3 loss. Since that 8-3 loss, you're 6-2-1. Totally different team. And every person I have come up here, you've been up here a couple times, Ben's been up here, gave me the same message over these last games when you guys win. Just the change in the attitude and change in behavior. Assumption hasn't seen that team yet. So what do you guys do over the next 3 days to get ready for that game?
Yeah, I think that's good. They haven't seen us like this. Keeps that element of surprise, kind of. And I think we're going to be the underdogs this whole way, I believe. I feel like teams underestimate us. and I feel like just going into that game, we just have to outwork them. They have a lot of skilled players on that team, and I think we can outwork it with our identity and our the way we turned it around these past couple games. I think we just have to put our heads down and work and outwork them and just keep battling adversity and just overall just like keep playing how we're playing and keep bearing on our chances. So.
Aiden Kennedy, the number one star of the game, 2 goals and an assist, team leading 19th point. Aiden, been great to have you up here this season. This is our last home game of the year. Congratulations. Enjoy the next couple days. Go get Assumption on Saturday.
Yeah, thank you guys. Appreciate it. Everything you guys do.
Perfect. Aiden Kennedy, everybody. Thank you. Perfect. Thank you.
Coach. Thank you, guys.
If he's not down there, you mind sending Benny up? All right, at least I know he'll get Benny.
I was like, you know what? I'm just going to come up here in these.
Let's get him ready. Let me know. We're good? All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Post with a gigantic 4-3 overtime victory in the first round of the NE10 conference playoffs. Our third star today, Ben Cunin. Let's just jump to the key play of the game, which was going to be the breakaway by Ursillo in the overtime, which is about 10 seconds before Kennedy wins the game. What'd you see? How'd you make that save? Before you answer that question, 3 Franklin Pierce players put their hands on their heads like this after you made that save as they were skating back to the bench.
Yeah, that was a crazy one. I mean, I saw him get a step, and I saw him drop his shoulder a little. I kind of knew he was shooting and could see by his blade he was looking to go glove. And I kind of just was like, extend my hand. I'm going to project, take away as much net as I can. And he got a good hold of it too. And then I just came up and read it and, thankfully made the save. And then Cans goes down and does what he does. I mean, he's such a good player. I mean, yeah.
Talk to me about this team as a whole. So you and I have had several conversations this season. We joke about how you had all the shutouts and you were here. Now you've won 3 games where you've given up goals.
Yeah.
Talk to me about what's changed in the last 9, 6-2-1. You guys have clearly taken a step in a different direction.
Yeah.
What's changed?
Absolutely. I feel like that first period today, what you saw in the beginning of the season, if we had a couple breakdowns that ended up in the net, we weren't able to rebound from that. And I think, like you saw today, we come out in the second and we just are humming. They're snapping pucks around. I think it's a belief that this group can do it. I'm so proud of the guys. That was really emotional, and it's great. And we're not done yet, right? I mean, I have full faith in this group that we can go all the way and win this thing. It's just a belief and resiliency. We're battle tested. This group is really battle tested. So.
0-3-1 against Assumption this year, but as we just mentioned a moment ago with Aiden, since that 8-3 loss to Assumption up there, that's when the 6-2-1 started. That's when everybody on this team sort of started to change the mindset.
Yeah.
They haven't seen this team yet. What are they going to get on Saturday?
I mean, we're going to come out and we're going to give them everything we got. Other people might think we're an underdog in that game. We know as a group we're not. If we come and play hard and play our game and stick to our details like we have been this past month or so, I mean, we have a great chance. I wouldn't want to be with any other group of guys, especially my last year. So I'm so proud of this group. We got to get ready for Saturday now. It's going to be a battle. They're a good team. We know that, and I couldn't be more proud of these guys right now.
I know still game on Saturday and hopefully another game after that. Anybody dump any Gatorade on Coach Richter for his first playoff win?
No Gatorade, I don't think. But we're going to celebrate, but now we know tomorrow it's right back to work. And I'm glad to see another day.
All right. Our third star, Ben Cunneen, again robbing Ursello on the breakaway that really cemented the game as the Eagles scored shortly thereafter. Ben, appreciate it all season long. Congratulations.
You very much. Thanks, Jeff.
Our pick for goaltender of the year, if anybody cares, but they haven't given those out yet. Ben Cunneen. Thanks, everybody. We'll wrap it up. Good night, everybody.
Thank you. No bias.